Laura Wilkey, age 35, was a journalist with an unwavering determination to expose corruption. Running her blog, Ocala After Dark, she fearlessly investigated local true crime stories and political figures. Laura possessed a sharp wit and infectious laughter that drew people to her. In her spare time, she enjoyed painting landscapes and exploring the hidden gems of the city. During the hot summer of July 2007, Ocala was buzzing with activity. The city's annual music festival, Ocala Jam Fest, brought together music lovers from all over the state. Laura, always on the lookout for a captivating story, attended the festival, documenting the vibrant atmosphere and interviewing both the up-and-coming and established bands. Her blog post about the event garnered attention from music enthusiasts and fellow journalists alike. But Laura's true passion lay in exposing the underbelly of the city. She dug deep into the lives of local politicians, unearthing scandals and shining a light on their questionable dealings. Her investigative pieces, such as the mayor's hidden secrets and the dark side of Ocala's elite, became the talk of the town. The local newspaper, Ocala Gazette, even featured her work on the front page, acknowledging her relentless pursuit of truth. Laura's determination, however, came with risks. She received anonymous threats and warnings to stay away from certain individuals. Yet, she remained undeterred, convinced that the truth needed to be revealed. Her latest investigation involved a prominent car dealership owner, Jonathan Range Rover Reed, who was rumored to have ties to organized crime. Laura delved into his background, following a trail of suspicious transactions and connections that led her deeper into the dangerous underworld. Little did Laura know her relentless pursuit of justice would have dire consequences. On a sweltering July afternoon, she received a tip about a secret meeting between Reed and a corrupt city council member. Determined to capture the evidence, Laura set up surveillance near a local coffee shop, Brood Awakening. As she discreetly snapped photographs, she had no idea that someone was poisoning her, eventually leaving her bedridden and, finally, dead. On the scorching morning of July 12, 2007, tragedy struck the quiet city of Ocala, Florida. At precisely 9 a.m., Jay Wilkey, the husband of renowned journalist Laura Wilkey, made a horrifying discovery that would forever change his life. The day had started like any other in the Wilkey household. The sun beat down mercilessly on the small suburban neighborhood as residents sought refuge in the coolness of their air-conditioned homes. But little did Jay know that this day would mark the beginning of a dark and perplexing chapter in his life. As Jay entered the bedroom, he was met with a sight that would haunt him for the rest of his days. There, lying motionless on the neatly made bed, was Laura, his beloved wife. Her once vibrant eyes were now closed forever, and her body lay still, as if frozen in time. The room was filled with an eerie silence, broken only by Jay's gasp of disbelief. The authorities were immediately summoned to the scene, their sirens piercing the otherwise tranquil neighborhood. As they meticulously combed through the room, searching for any clues that could shed light on this mysterious death, the air was thick with tension and uncertainty. In the days following Laura's untimely demise, the media frenzy surrounding the case reached a fever pitch. Headlines screamed with speculation, and armchair detectives dissected every detail, desperately trying to piece together the puzzle. News outlets like the Ocala Gazette and the Florida Times-Union dedicated countless column inches to the investigation, as the city held its breath, waiting for answers. As the investigation continued, the city of Ocala held its breath, anxiously awaiting the day when the truth behind Laura Wilkey's death would finally be unveiled. But for now, the answers remained elusive, shrouded in a web of secrecy and unanswered questions. In the heart of Ocala, a city known for its picturesque landscapes and vibrant community, a shocking crime took place that would leave the town in a state of disbelief. Laura Wilkey, a respected journalist and fearless investigator, met a tragic end on the scorching morning of July 12, 2007. Detectives Olivia Gressel and Mark Hastur, renowned for their meticulous approach to investigations, swiftly arrived at the scene. The Ocala Police Department was determined to solve this heinous crime and bring justice to Laura and her grieving loved ones. As they entered the house, a sense of eerie calm hung in the air. There were no signs of forced entry, suggesting that the killer had either been known to Laura or possessed a level of cunning that allowed them to gain access undetected. The detectives meticulously combed through every inch of the crime scene, searching for any clue that could shed light on Laura's untimely demise. The house appeared immaculately clean, as if someone had meticulously tidied up after the crime. However, their attention was soon drawn to the cause of death: poisoning. The exact substance used remained a mystery, leaving the investigators puzzled and determined to uncover the truth. With a keen eye for detail, the detectives photographed every inch of the crime scene, capturing potential DNA samples and any other evidence that could potentially lead them to the killer. They knew that in order to solve this perplexing case, they would need to leave no stone unturned. As the investigation unfolded, the town of Ocala was gripped with a sense of unease. The investigation into Laura Wilkey's murder would prove to be a complex puzzle, one that would challenge the detectives' skills and test their resolve. As the summer heat continued to bear down on Ocala, the search for the truth intensified, leaving the town anxiously awaiting the day when justice would finally be served. The initial focus of the investigation turned towards Jay Wilkey, a 49-year-old man who owned a flourishing gardening supply store in Ocala, Florida. Known for his friendly demeanor and charm, Jay was a familiar face in the community, often seen mingling with customers and offering expert advice on horticulture. However, beneath this amiable facade, there were whispers of a darker side. Detectives Olivia Gressel and Mark Hastur, leading the investigation, delved into Jay's relationship with his wife Laura, searching for any clues that could shed light on a possible motive. They meticulously pieced together the puzzle of their marriage, uncovering a history of turbulence and hidden tensions. Friends and acquaintances were interviewed, and a pattern of arguments and heated exchanges emerged. As the detectives delved deeper into Jay's personal life, they discovered a series of text messages exchanged between him and Laura in the weeks leading up to her tragic demise. The messages were from Laura begging Jay to not go near her, something that obviously indicated cracks in the foundation of their marriage. The detectives, determined to uncover the truth, obtained a warrant to search Jay's phone records, hoping to find more evidence that could connect him to Laura's murder. Simultaneously, the investigators scoured the city for any potential witnesses who may have seen or heard something on the day of the crime. They examined surveillance footage from nearby establishments, hoping to catch a glimpse of any suspicious individuals lurking in the vicinity of Laura's home. As the case gained media attention, tips flooded in from concerned citizens, each one meticulously followed up on by the diligent detectives. Days turned into weeks, and the investigation seemed to hit a dead end. The detectives meticulously reviewed every piece of evidence, re-examining the crime scene photographs and the DNA samples collected. They consulted with forensic experts, hoping for a breakthrough that would crack the case wide open. Despite the mounting pressure, Jay Wilkey vehemently maintained his innocence. He hired a high-profile defense attorney who spoke to the media on his behalf, proclaiming his client's unwavering belief that the truth would prevail. Clara Pointer, a 28-year-old co-worker and close friend of Laura Wilkey, emerged as a significant person of interest in the ongoing investigation into Laura's untimely death. Clara, like Laura, was a journalist, contributed articles for Laura's blog Ocala After Dark. She was known for her ambition and relentless pursuit of success. Mutual friends whispered about her burning desire to be the head of Ocala After Dark, the popular blog that Laura had built from the ground up. It was believed that Clara's envy of Laura's achievements may have fueled a sinister plot. During the police interrogation, Clara maintained an outwardly calm and collected demeanor, skillfully deflecting any suspicions that arose. She vehemently denied any involvement in Laura's murder, claiming that their friendship was genuine and that she had no reason to harm her colleague. Clara, for her part, pointed instead to Jay as the likely killer. She said Laura was deeply afraid of him, blaming him for the illness that led to her death. Clara said Laura repeatedly told her, "Don't let my husband near me. He wants me dead." However, the investigators uncovered some intriguing details that cast doubt on Clara's innocence. They have obtained surveillance footage from a nearby coffee shop, showing Clara purchasing a bottle of a powerful sedative on the morning of July 12, 2007. The same sedative was found in Laura's system during the autopsy. This evidence, combined with Clara's undeniable ambition and rumored jealousy, raised eyebrows among the authorities. Furthermore, witnesses came forward, claiming that Clara had been overheard making disparaging remarks about Laura's success. One witness, who wished to remain anonymous, reported hearing Clara say, "I should be the one in charge of Ocala after dark. Laura doesn't deserve all the attention she's getting." Will Clara Pointer's carefully crafted facade crumble under the weight of the evidence against her? Or is there a hidden accomplice who remains undiscovered? Only time will tell as this gripping true crime case unravels before our eyes. A major breakthrough in the investigation of Laura Wilkey's murder occurred on the afternoon of July 17, 2007. The time was precisely 4 p.m., and the blistering heat of Ocala, Florida, remained relentless. Detectives Olivia Gressel and Mark Hastur stumbled upon a crucial piece of evidence that would send shockwaves through the case. In their relentless pursuit of the truth, the detectives had been meticulously sifting through Laura's digital footprint. It was during this painstaking process that they unearthed a series of emails exchanged between Clara Pointer, a close friend and co-worker of Laura's, and David Yarboro, a private investigator renowned in the Ocala area. These emails provided a startling glimpse into the tangled web of deceit surrounding Laura's murder. Clara, it seemed, had been secretly seducing David to sabotage Laura's investigations. The content of the emails indicated that Laura had hired David to delve into the corrupt underbelly of Ocala's car dealership owner Jonathan, Range Rover Reed, with Clara acting as the intermediary. The detectives were astounded by this revelation. It raised a multitude of questions. What had Laura uncovered that was so dangerous? Who were the individuals involved in this web of corruption? And most importantly, why was Laura targeted? The implications of these emails were far-reaching. They suggested a motive for Clara's potential involvement in Laura's murder. Was she driven by jealousy and a desire to take over Ocala after dark, as rumors had suggested? Or was there something more sinister at play? As the investigation continued to unfold, the detectives were left with a myriad of unanswered questions. What other secrets lay hidden in the depths of Ocala's underbelly? And would they be able to bring Laura's killer to justice? The investigation took an unexpected turn on July 17, 2007, at around 4 p.m., when the Ocala police stumbled upon a series of emails exchanged between Clara Pointer, Laura Wilkey's co-worker and close friend, and David Yarboro, a private investigator hired by Laura to uncover corruption. These emails revealed a connection between Clara and David that raised eyebrows and left investigators scrambling to understand the implications. David Yarboro, a 45-year-old private investigator with a checkered past, had gained a reputation for his resourcefulness and determination in previous cases. He had been involved in Laura's high-profile corruption investigation, which had sent shockwaves through the local political scene. However, whispers began to circulate that David held a personal grudge against Laura for exposing his own misdeeds in the past. As the police interrogated David, his reaction was one of anger and frustration. He vehemently denied any involvement in Laura's murder, maintaining his innocence with unwavering conviction. The investigators delved into David's motives and connections to Clara, seeking to uncover any potential links that could shed light on the case. During the interrogation, David's past came under scrutiny. It was revealed that he had a history of working on high-stakes cases involving corruption and political scandals. Some of his previous clients included prominent figures in the local government, making him a well-known name in the realm of investigative journalism. However, as the investigation into Laura's murder unfolded, David's reputation began to crumble. The police dug deeper into David's personal life, interviewing his acquaintances and examining his financial records. They discovered that David had fallen on hard times in the months leading up to Laura's murder. He had been struggling to make ends meet, with mounting debts and a desperate need for a big break. This revelation raised suspicions about his involvement in Laura's death and added fuel to the growing fire of speculation surrounding the case. As the investigation continued, the police were determined to uncover the truth behind Laura Wilkey's untimely demise. With each new piece of evidence, the web of suspects grew more intricate and the motives became murkier. The clock was ticking, and the Ocala community held its breath, waiting for justice to prevail. In a shocking turn of events, the investigation into the untimely death of Laura Wilkey, the fearless journalist behind the renowned blog Ocala After Dark, took a sinister turn. After days of meticulous detective work, the police uncovered the true mastermind behind Laura's murder, Clara Pointer, a co-worker and friend who harbored a deep-seated jealousy and desire for power. Clara, a 28-year-old ambitious individual, had long coveted Laura's position as the head of Ocala After Dark. Rumors of her envy and resentment towards Laura's success had been circulating for months, but no one could have fathomed the extent of Clara's treachery. The police's breakthrough in the case came on July 17, 2007, when a series of emails between Clara and David Yarboro, a private investigator hired by Laura, were discovered. These emails shed light on Clara's nefarious plans to seduce and manipulate David, who had developed an unhealthy sexual obsession with Laura. David, a 45-year-old private investigator with a checkered past, had a personal vendetta against Laura for exposing his previous misdeeds. However, his twisted infatuation with her led him to inadvertently aid Clara in her sinister plot. The investigation revealed that Clara had been secretly poisoning Laura's coffee for months, gradually weakening her. Laura's haunting words, "Don't let my husband near me. He wants me dead," were uttered in her delirium as Clara's poison took its toll. It is a chilling reminder of the depths of Clara's manipulation and the tragic fate that awaited Laura. But Clara's web of deceit did not end there. She had exploited both Laura's husband, Jay Wilkey, and David, utilizing her sexuality and their vulnerabilities to further her sinister agenda. Clara knew that Jay's troubled marriage and volatile temper would make him an easy target for suspicion. She carefully orchestrated the murder to frame him, all while maintaining her facade of innocence. As the investigation unfolded, the police pieced together Clara's manipulative tactics, exposing the extent of her exploitation. With the evidence against her mounting, the police moved in to arrest Clara at her apartment. Her calculated use of sexuality and the vulnerabilities of those around her showcased a level of cunning that is truly chilling. The trial that followed the shocking murder of Laura Wilkey was nothing short of a gripping spectacle. The courtroom was packed with eager spectators, eager to witness justice being served. District Attorney Unity Collins led the prosecution, presenting a compelling argument that left no room for doubt. She meticulously laid out the evidence, highlighting Clara Pointer's jealousy and calculated actions. The defense attorney, Esmeralda Constable, fought tooth and nail to cast doubt on the evidence and Clara's motives. She argued that the prosecution's case was built on circumstantial evidence and lacked a smoking gun. However, the weight of the evidence against Clara was overwhelming, leaving the defense with an uphill battle. Emotions ran high as Laura's family took their seats in the courtroom. They had endured months of heartache and uncertainty, desperately seeking justice for their beloved daughter. The trial became a battleground of conflicting narratives, with the prosecution painting Clara as a manipulative mastermind and the defense attempting to humanize her, portraying her as a victim of circumstances. Throughout the trial, the jury listened intently to the testimonies of witnesses, examined the physical evidence, and reviewed the damning emails exchanged between Clara and the private investigator, David Yarboro. The emails revealed Clara's sinister plans and her attempts to manipulate both Jay Wilkey and David. After hours of deliberation, the jury delivered their unanimous verdict, guilty. Clara Pointer was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to 25 years in prison without the possibility of parole. The courtroom erupted in a mix of relief and anguish as Laura's family and friends finally saw justice being served. The impact of the trial rippled through the community, leaving a lasting impression on the residents of Ocala, Florida. The trial became the topic of conversations at local diners and coffee shops, with everyone weighing in on the verdict and its implications. As the trial came to a close, Laura's family and friends were left grappling with the aftermath. The wounds caused by her untimely demise would never fully heal, but the verdict brought them a sense of closure. They could finally begin the process of healing and moving forward, cherishing the memories of Laura and the impact she had on their lives. In the aftermath of the trial, life took on a new normal for all those involved. Jay Wilkey, Laura's husband, who had been falsely accused, felt a mix of relief and grief. He sought solace in rebuilding his life, focusing on his gardening supply store and reconnecting with friends and family. Jay found comfort in the support of the Ocala community, who rallied behind him during the trial. He became an advocate for justice reform, using his own experience to raise awareness about wrongful accusations. David Yarboro, the private investigator who had unwittingly aided Clara Pointer in her plot, was consumed by guilt. He dedicated himself to making amends for his misplaced loyalty. David reached out to Laura's family, offering his sincere apologies and assistance in any way he could. He embarked on a personal journey of redemption, vowing to use his investigative skills for good and help other victims of manipulation and deceit. As time passed, the wounds began to heal, but the memory of Laura Wilkey remained etched in the hearts of those who knew her. The trial had exposed the dark underbelly of jealousy and manipulation, but it also showcased the resilience of a community seeking justice. The impact of Laura's life and untimely death would forever serve as a reminder to cherish the truth and stand against those who seek to deceive. Maggie Luen, a warm-hearted and hospitable woman, was a 45-year-old housewife who took great pride in her role as a mother to her 2 children, Mocha and Tucker. Married to local dentist Dr. Dean Luen DDS, Maggie dedicated herself to maintaining the perfect household. However, beneath her cheerful exterior, Maggie yearned for excitement and fulfillment beyond the confines of domesticity. Desperate to escape the monotony of her everyday life in Elgin, Illinois, she found solace in the local women's book club. The book club, known as the Literary Ladies, was a close-knit group of women who met every Tuesday evening at each of their houses. Led by the charismatic and enigmatic Linda Bernardino Scalco, the club provided an escape from the mundane reality of their suburban lives. They discussed everything from classic literature to contemporary bestsellers, with a particular love of the novelist Joyce Lehman. They loved to share their thoughts and opinions over cups of steaming coffee and plates of homemade sugar cookies. Maggie, with her insatiable thirst for literary adventure, quickly became an active member of the book club. She relished the intellectual discussions, the camaraderie, and the opportunity to step out of her comfort zone. The club became her sanctuary, a place where she could explore her hidden desires and dreams. Little did Maggie know that her involvement with the Literary Ladies would lead her down a dark and treacherous path. As the days grew colder in January 1993, a sinister plot began to unfold within the confines of the book club. Secrets, jealousy, and betrayal simmered beneath the surface, threatening to shatter the illusion of harmony. On a fateful day, January 23, 1993, with the weather bleak and cold, Maggie's life came to a tragic end. Her body was discovered in her own bathroom, brutally beaten to death with a claw hammer. It was Karen Evans, Maggie's closest friend and next-door neighbor, who made the horrifying discovery. Karen, a petite woman with a heart-shaped face, auburn hair, and a heart of gold, had gone over to Maggie's house for their regular Saturday morning coffee and chat session. Little did she know that this visit would forever change her life. As Karen entered the house, she immediately noticed something was amiss. The air felt heavy with an unspoken tension. The usual warmth and laughter that filled the air during their weekly get-togethers were replaced by an eerie silence. Concerned, Karen called out for Maggie, but there was no response. She made her way towards the bathroom. As Karen made her way up the stairs, her heart pounding in her chest, she noticed a faint smell of iron in the air. The bathroom door stood ajar, casting an eerie glow onto the hallway. With trembling hands, she pushed open the door, and what she saw would haunt her forever. Maggie's lifeless body lay sprawled on the cold tile floor, her once vibrant eyes now vacant and lifeless. Blood stained the walls, and the claw hammer, the murder weapon, lay beside her. Upon opening the bathroom door, Karen's worst fears were realized. Karen's initial reaction was one of shock and disbelief. She couldn't comprehend the brutality of what she was witnessing. Panic surged through her veins as she frantically dialed 911, her voice trembling as she relayed the grisly scene to the dispatcher. News of the murder spread like wildfire through the tight-knit community of Elgin. The town was gripped with a sense of unease, as neighbors locked their doors and whispered about the possibility of a killer lurking among them. On that fateful winter day of January 23, 1993, tragedy struck the quiet town of Elgin, Illinois. The murder of Maggie Luen, a beloved housewife and mother, sent shockwaves through the community, leaving everyone in disbelief. The police, led by Detective Carl Bledsoe, wasted no time in launching a thorough investigation into this heinous crime. Arriving promptly at the crime scene, the police were met with a chilling sight. The bathroom, once a place of tranquility and cleanliness, now bore the grim evidence of a brutal attack. Bloodstains splattered across the walls, and floor told a story of violence and terror. It was clear that Maggie had been mercilessly beaten to death with a claw hammer, a weapon that had been turned against her in her own home. Detective Bledsoe and his team meticulously combed through every inch of the crime scene, leaving no stone unturned. They meticulously collected any potential evidence, ensuring that no detail went unnoticed. Fingerprints were carefully lifted, blood samples were taken, and any possible evidence was meticulously cataloged. As the investigation unfolded, the detectives began to piece together the last moments of Maggie's life. Interviews with friends and family revealed that she had been an active member of a local women's book club. Could there be a connection between her involvement in the club and her untimely demise? The detectives delved deeper into the lives of the book club members, scrutinizing their backgrounds and relationships. They discovered that tensions had been simmering beneath the surface, hidden behind the facade of friendship. Petty jealousies, secret affairs, and whispered rumors plagued the seemingly innocent lives of these women. The media, hungry for a sensational story, descended upon Elgin, amplifying the already palpable tension in the air. News outlets like the local newspaper, the Elgin Courier, and the television station, WGN-TV, covered the case extensively, eager to capture every twist and turn. The town, once known for its peaceful, boringly Midwestern charm, became a hub of speculation and intrigue. Days turned into weeks, and the investigation continued to unfold. Detective Bledsoe analyzed the evidence, sifting through countless leads and alibis. The pressure to solve this case weighed heavily on his shoulders as the community anxiously awaited justice for Maggie Luen. Linda Bernardino-Scalco, a 61-year-old local librarian and esteemed leader of the Women's Book Club, found herself at the center of suspicion in the shocking murder of Maggie Luen. Known for her bookish exterior, sharp intellect, and extensive knowledge of literature, Linda had always presented herself as a respected member of the community. However, as the investigation unfolded, a hidden side to Linda's life began to emerge, casting doubt on her innocence. The Women's Book Club, once thought to be a gathering of literary enthusiasts, turned out to be far more than meets the eye. Behind closed doors, this seemingly innocent group transformed into a secret society of female sexual exploration, engaging in clandestine activities such as swinging and orgies that shocked the conservative and very Midwestern community of Elgin, Illinois. The members of the club, including Linda and Maggie, indulged in a world of forbidden sexual desires, where erotic boundaries were pushed and inhibitions were cast aside. As the investigators delved deeper into Linda's background, they discovered a trail of secrets and hidden rendezvous. The evidence pointed to a complicated web of relationships and encounters that seemed inconceivable in the quiet suburban town. The police meticulously examined phone records, uncovering late-night calls and cryptic messages exchanged between Linda, Maggie, and the other members of the book club. The investigation revealed a complex network of desire and betrayal, where passion and jealousy intertwined. The motive behind Maggie's brutal murder remained elusive, leaving investigators puzzled. Linda's demeanor during the interrogations only added to the enigma surrounding her. At times, Linda, who hid a passionate and deeply sexual nature, displayed flashes of anger, vehemently denying any involvement in the crime. Yet, in other moments, she exuded an eerie calmness, as if she held the key to a dark secret that could unravel the entire mystery. As Detective Carl Bledsoe and his team continued to piece together the puzzle, they found themselves entangled in a web of deceit and desire, where nothing was as it seemed. With each new lead, the truth seemed to slip further away, leaving the investigators and the community desperate for answers. Karen Evans, a close friend and neighbor of Maggie Luen, became the focus of the investigation as the second suspect in the murder case. Known for her friendly and cheerful demeanor, Karen appeared to be the epitome of suburban normalcy. However, behind closed doors, a darker side of Karen was revealed. During the course of the investigation, it was uncovered that Karen and Maggie had a sexual relationship within the Women's Book Club. While this revelation added a new layer of complexity to the case, it also shed light on a potential motive for the crime. Karen also admitted to feeling jealous of Maggie's sexual encounters with Linda Bernardino Scalco, the leader of the book/secret sex club. The police interrogated Karen extensively, carefully observing her reactions and demeanor. They sought to uncover the truth behind Maggie's murder and determine Karen's involvement, if any. In the interrogation room, Karen's emotions ranged from anger to sadness, as she struggled to come to terms with her feelings of jealousy and betrayal. The investigators probed deeper, questioning Karen about her relationship with Maggie and the dynamics within the book club. As the interview progressed, Karen revealed that she had developed strong feelings for Maggie over time. She admitted to feeling a sense of possessiveness and resentment towards Linda, who had also engaged in sexual activities with Maggie. Karen's jealousy had intensified, leading to a growing tension between the three women. The investigators delved into Karen's background, seeking any possible connections to the crime. They discovered that Karen had a history of emotional instability and had previously sought therapy for her jealousy issues. This revelation added another dimension to the case, as the police considered the possibility of Karen's emotions spiraling out of control. Furthermore, the investigators uncovered evidence that Karen had been researching ways to deal with jealousy and anger. They found books and articles on self-help, anger management, and relationships in her possession. These findings raised suspicions about Karen's state of mind and her potential involvement in Maggie's murder. As the investigation continued, the police meticulously examined Karen's alibi and cross-referenced it with witness testimonies and physical evidence. They also analyzed Karen's phone records, seeking any communication that could link her to the crime. Every detail was scrutinized in their pursuit of the truth. The case of Maggie Luen's murder had taken a complex turn, with Karen Evans emerging as a key figure in the investigation. The police were determined to uncover the truth behind Maggie's untimely demise and determine Karen's role in the shocking crime. The investigation into the murder of Maggie Luen took an unexpected turn as new evidence emerged, providing a glimmer of hope for the dedicated team of detectives. On a frigid January day in 1993, the police made a breakthrough that could potentially crack the case wide open. The weather, a bone-chilling cold that gripped Elgin, Illinois, played a crucial role in this significant discovery. It was on January 27th, when the temperature plummeted to a freezing -10 degrees Fahrenheit, that a key piece of evidence was uncovered. Detective Carl Bledsoe and his team meticulously analyzed the data from various sources, including local meteorological records and eyewitness testimonies. It was during their investigation that they stumbled upon a witness who had been in close proximity to Maggie's house on the night of her murder. Howard Johnson, a resident of the neighboring street, recalled hearing a loud commotion emanating from Maggie's house at around 9:30 p.m. He had been outside, shoveling the snow that had accumulated during the day, when he heard what sounded like a heated argument followed by a series of thuds. Detective Bledsoe immediately recognized the significance of Mr. Johnson's account. The freezing temperatures that night had caused the freshly fallen snow to preserve the footprints left behind by anyone who had been near the crime scene. The detective and his team rushed to Maggie's house, carefully combing through the snow-covered ground for any signs of footprints. Their efforts paid off when they discovered a set of distinct footprints leading away from Maggie's house and towards the nearby park. The footprints were carefully measured and documented, revealing the precise stride length and shoe size of the individual responsible for Maggie's murder. The police compared these footprints to the shoe sizes of the prime suspects, Linda Bernardino Scalco and Karen Evans. The results were shocking. While Linda's shoe size did not match the footprints, Karen's shoe size was an exact match. This revelation sent shockwaves through the investigation team, raising questions about Karen's potential involvement in the crime. With this crucial evidence in hand, the detectives intensified their interrogation of Karen, scrutinizing her every word and reaction. The pressure mounted as Karen's initial calmness gave way to moments of unease and anxiety. The investigation was now on a knife's edge, with the truth hanging precariously in the balance. In the ongoing investigation into the murder of Maggie Luen, a new suspect emerged, Dr. Susan Cheong, a 42-year-old dentist and the newest member of the Women's Book Club. Dr. Cheong, known for her aloof demeanor and mysterious past, had become a person of interest in this chilling case. Dr. Cheong's personal life was shrouded in secrecy, with little known about her background or motivations. However, the police uncovered some intriguing details that may shed light on her possible involvement in this heinous crime. One key piece of information that came to light is that Dr. Cheong did not engage in the sexual activities that took place within the book club. While other members indulged in secret liaisons, Dr. Cheong remained detached, keeping her personal life tightly guarded. Another intriguing aspect of this case was Dr. Cheong's connection to a man named Dr. Dean Luen. It had been revealed that Dr. Cheong had broken the rules of the book club by engaging in sex with a man, none other than Dr. Luen, a fellow dentist, who happened to be Maggie Luen's husband. This revelation raised eyebrows and sparked speculation about the extent of Dr. Cheong's involvement in the unraveling of the book club's secrets. Had she told her lover about his wife's secret sex life? As the police interrogate Dr. Cheong, they carefully observed her reactions and demeanor. Every word, every gesture was analyzed for any signs of guilt or involvement in this heinous crime. She admitted she had told Dean about his wife's dealings in the book club's secret. Might this be the breakthrough the investigators desperately need? The shocking truth behind the murder of Maggie Luen, a seemingly ordinary housewife from Elgin, Illinois, had finally been unveiled. After a thorough investigation, it was revealed that the murderer was none other than Dr. Dean Luen DDS, Maggie's own husband and a local dentist. The motive behind this heinous crime was a toxic combination of jealousy and desire. Driven by his intense longing for his wife and enraged by her alleged betrayal, Dr. Luen confronted Maggie in the bathroom of their home on that fateful day in January of 1993. The details of the confrontation are chilling. In a fit of anger, Maggie admitted that yes, she had engaged in sexual relationships with the members of her women's book club, a secret gathering that turned out to be a lesbian swingers group. This revelation pushed Dr. Luen over the edge, and he resorted to brutal violence, wielding a claw hammer to mercilessly beat his wife to death. The police meticulously pieced together the evidence, uncovering a web of deceit and hidden desires. The investigation revealed that Dr. Luen had discovered his wife's secret through Dr. Susan Cheong, a fellow dentist and the newest member of the book club. Dr. Cheong had broken the rules of the club by engaging in a sexual relationship with Dr. Dean Miller, to whom she divulged the secrets of the book club and Maggie's infidelity. The arrest of Dr. Luen sent shockwaves through the community of Elgin, as the once respected dentist was exposed as a cold-blooded murderer. The media frenzy that followed the revelation of this true crime case captivated Chicagoland, with newspapers and television stations covering every detail of the investigation and subsequent trial. The trial that followed Dr. Dean Luen's arrest for the murder of his wife, Maggie Luen, gripped the community of Elgin, Illinois in January of 1993. The courtroom was filled with anticipation as the prosecution, led by District Attorney Geppetto Zempic, a proud Maltese immigrant, presented a compelling case against the accused. The defense, represented by Defense Attorney C. Alice Powell, sought to challenge the prosecution's narrative, delving into the complex emotions that fueled the murder. Throughout the trial, the courtroom was packed with spectators eager to witness the proceedings. Local news outlets, such as the Elgin Gazette and the Evening Star, provided updates on the trial, ensuring that the community remained informed. The trial became the talk of the town, with people discussing the case over cups of coffee at the popular local diner, Joe's Cafe. The prosecution painted a vivid picture of the crime, emphasizing the brutality of Maggie's murder and the devastating impact it had on her family. They presented evidence, including the claw hammer used as the murder weapon, which had been found hidden in Dr. Luen's dental office. The defense, on the other hand, sought to humanize the accused, delving into his troubled past and the complex emotions that led to the tragic event. Maggie's family, including her children Mocha and Tucker, sat through the trial, their grief palpable. They listened intently as witnesses took the stand, recounting the events leading up to Maggie's death. The emotional toll on the family was evident as they grappled with the details that emerged during the trial. After weeks of testimony and deliberation, the jury reached a verdict. Dr. Dean Luen DDS was found guilty of the murder of his wife. The courtroom erupted with mixed emotions, as some felt that justice had been served, while others questioned whether the punishment was sufficient. The sentencing, which took place a few weeks later, saw Dr. Luen receive a life sentence without the possibility of parole. The impact of the guilty verdict reverberated through the community, leaving a lasting impression on those involved. The Luen family, along with Maggie's friends and neighbors, were forever changed by the events that unfolded during the trial. As the trial came to a close, the community of Elgin slowly began to heal. The book club, once a source of intrigue and scandal, disbanded, its members scattered. The town returned to its familiar routines, but the memory of Maggie's murder lingered, a reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary lives. In the aftermath of the highly publicized trial that captivated the community, life slowly began to regain a sense of normalcy for Susan, Karen, and Linda, as well as the other individuals involved in this tragic case. Dr. Susan Cheong, the 42-year-old dentist and newest member of the book club, found solace in her work. She threw herself into her dental practice, dedicating long hours to her patients and honing her skills. Susan's patients, unaware of her connection to the murder case, continued to trust her with their dental needs, allowing her to gradually regain a sense of normalcy. Karen Evans, Maggie's closest friend and neighbor, found solace in the support of her community. Elgin, Illinois, a tight-knit and boringly suburban town, rallied around Karen, offering their condolences and support during her darkest moments. Linda Bernardino Scalco, the 61-year-old librarian and leader of the Women's Book Club, retreated from the public eye. The scandal surrounding the book club's true nature had tarnished Linda's reputation within the community. She resigned from her position at the local library and relocated to a small town in Florida, hoping to start anew. The Luen children, Tucker and Mocha, sought therapy to cope with the trauma they had endured. Their sessions focused on healing, forgiveness, and finding a way to move forward. Their resilience and strength in the face of tragedy inspired those around them. As the years passed, Elgin, Illinois, a town forever marked by this tragedy, continued to grow and evolve, its residents determined to create a future that honored the memory of Maggie and brought healing to their community. As we conclude this episode of True Crime Case Files, we reflect on the tragic story of Maggie Luen, whose death unlocked the secrets of a women's book club. This harrowing tale serves as a reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary lives. Our story takes place in Fresno, California, during the month of August in 1994. The tranquil suburban neighborhood on Maplewood Drive was about to become the stage for a series of heinous crimes. The first victim, Claire Bey, was a cheerful and friendly homemaker who lived a seemingly ordinary life. At the age of 50, Claire was known for her love of gardening and baking, her passion for nurturing both her family and her community. Claire, a devoted homemaker, found solace in her love for gardening and baking, activities that brought her immense joy. Alongside her beloved husband, Walter, a convenience store owner, and their 4 children, Carla, Lucky, Bruce, and Jody, Claire led what appeared to everyone to be an idyllic life. Claire's radiant personality and unwavering willingness to lend a helping hand left an indelible mark on her close-knit community. Her neighbors fondly recall the delectable aroma of her freshly baked goods wafting through the neighborhood, enticing everyone to indulge in her culinary delights. Claire's garden, a colorful tapestry of vibrant flowers and meticulously pruned hedges, has been the talk of the town for years, earning her accolades from local gardening enthusiasts. As August unfurled its scorching heat, little did anyone suspect the dark secret that lurked beneath Claire's seemingly idyllic life. The tranquil streets of Fresno were blissfully unaware of the storm that would unleash tragedy within the Bey household. It was a scorching hot summer day on August 15, 1994, in Fresno, California. The city was buzzing with excitement as news of the upcoming release of the hit movie Forrest Gump spread like wildfire. Little did the residents know that tragedy was about to strike the peaceful Bey household. Claire's life was abruptly cut short, her vibrant existence snuffed out within the confines of her own home. It was her husband, Walter, who discovered her lifeless body in their modest home. The scene that unfolded before him was nothing short of horrifying. Claire, a loving wife and mother of 4, had been brutally beaten to death in her own home. As the news of Claire's untimely demise spread like wildfire, the community was gripped with fear and confusion. The local news outlets, such as the Fresno Bee and KSE24, were quick to report on the tragic incident, capturing the attention of residents far and wide. Local authorities swiftly descended upon the scene. their investigation fueled by the urgency to bring justice to this heinous crime. The house, once a sanctuary of love and warmth, now stood as a haunting reminder of the dark reality that had unfolded within its walls. Rumors began to circulate, whispers of a shadowy figure lurking in the shadows, preying on innocent victims. Speculation mounted as the community grappled with the terrifying possibility that a serial killer was among them. Parents held their children a little tighter, and neighbors eyed each other with suspicion. August 1994 was a time of uncertainty, not only for the Beely family but for the entire Fresno community. The scorching heat seemed to mirror the simmering tension that permeated the streets. People locked their doors and windows, desperate to protect themselves from an invisible menace that haunted their every thought. The Fresno Police Department swiftly responded to the distressing call on that scorching hot August day in 1994. Detectives Dougal Andrews and Joan Garza, known for their dedication to solving heinous crimes, arrived at the crime scene to unravel the perplexing puzzle surrounding Claire Beely's untimely demise. Upon entering the house, the detectives were greeted by a scene of horror. The air hung heavy with the stench of violence and despair. The once vibrant and welcoming home now bore the marks of a brutal struggle. Bloodstains marred the walls, serving as a chilling testament to the brutality that had unfolded within these walls. As the detectives meticulously combed through the meticulously designed house, they meticulously documented each piece of meticulous evidence, determined to meticulously piece together the meticulous puzzle of Claire's tragic and meticulously violent end. They found a broken vase, meticulously shattered into countless meticulous fragments, its remnants meticulously scattered across the living room floor. The shards of glass glinted in the harsh light, mirroring the shattered lives left behind in the wake of this senseless act. In the kitchen, a half-empty bag of flour lay abandoned on the counter, its contents spilling out onto the pristine tiles. The detectives noted the fingerprints smudged on the bag, a potential clue that could lead them closer to the truth. They carefully collected samples, sealing them in plastic bags and labeling them with meticulous precision. The investigation was not confined to the crime scene alone. Detectives Andrews and Garza reached out to Claire's friends, neighbors, and colleagues, seeking any information that could help them crack the case. They pored over phone records, searching for any suspicious calls made in the days leading up to the tragic event. Every lead, no matter how small, was pursued with unwavering resolve. As the days turned into weeks, the detectives found themselves immersed in a web of interviews, forensic analysis, and tireless pursuit of justice. The city of Fresno held its breath, united in its collective desire to see the perpetrator brought to justice. The next victim in this bone-chilling tale is Henry Reinvoke, a retired teacher who had spent his life imparting knowledge to the young minds of Fresno's public school system. At the age of 65, Henry was known for his warm and compassionate nature. He had dedicated his golden years to volunteering at the local library, sharing his love for books with the community. On the morning of August 17, 1994, tragedy struck once again. Henry's lifeless body was discovered beaten to death in his modest home in Fresno, California. The news of his murder sent shockwaves through the tight-knit community, leaving residents fearful and on edge yet again. Detectives Andrews and Garza of the Fresno PD, the same investigators who had been working tirelessly on Claire Beely's case, were now faced with another perplexing crime scene. The room where Henry's body was found was in disarray, with furniture overturned and personal belongings scattered across the floor. It was a scene of chaos, a stark contrast to the calm and orderly life Henry was known to lead. As the detectives delved deeper into Henry's life, they discovered a possible motive for his murder. It seemed that Henry had recently come into possession of a valuable antique book, rumored to hold secrets of great historical significance. The book, known as Inner Art of the Egyptian Kings, by Austrian antiquarian Herr Johannes Wintergeist, was said to contain hidden codes and encrypted messages that could unlock a treasure trove of knowledge. The investigators also began to question a former student of Henry's, Peter Bosco, who had shown a keen interest in history during his time in Henry's class. Peter vehemently denied any involvement in the crime, expressing shock and disbelief at the news of his beloved teacher's death. He claimed that he had not seen or spoken to Henry in years, and that he had no knowledge of the mysterious antique book. The detectives continued to work tirelessly, sifting through the evidence and following every lead, determined to bring the perpetrator to justice. With the weight of the community's expectations on their shoulders, they knew that time was of the essence. In the scorching heat of August 20th, 1994, with the mercury reaching 105 degrees, a pivotal moment in the investigation sent shockwaves through the small community of Fresno, California. Judy Sinal Jackson, a distressed woman with a voice trembling with urgency, made a call to 911 that would forever alter the course of the case. She bravely declared, "My mother-in-law is a serial killer," and pointed a damning finger at Marjorie Jackson, her own mother-in-law. Despite Judy's insistence, the authorities were skeptical. They dismissed Judy's claims as the rantings of a hysterical woman and a disgruntled daughter-in-law, someone who, like many, was caught in the web of familial tensions and hated her mother-in-law. But little did they know, this call would hold the key to unlocking the true extent of Marjorie's sinister involvement. The city of Fresno, once named by USA Today in 1988 as America's friendliest city, was now gripped by fear and paranoia. Neighbors peered through their curtains, suspicious eyes scanning the streets for any sign of danger. Parents clutched their children a little tighter, afraid to let them out of their sight. In the summer of 1994, Fresno, California was grappling with a series of shocking murders that had left the community in a state of fear and uncertainty. The latest victim in this chilling tale was Jane Fasenra, a dedicated nurse and single mother. At the age of 40, Jane had devoted her life to caring for others at Fresno General Hospital, both at work and at home. Her professionalism and empathy had earned her the respect and admiration of her colleagues and patients alike. On a sweltering August evening, tragedy struck Jane's peaceful home. Her lifeless body was discovered by her 15-year-old son, Vrayler, who had returned from a friend's house to find his mother brutally beaten to death. The scene was a haunting one, with signs of a violent struggle that had taken place in the very place Jane should have felt safe. The police immediately sprang into action, their names becoming familiar to the residents of Fresno, Detectives Dougal Andrews and Joan Garza. With a meticulous approach, they combed through the crime scene, searching for any shred of evidence that could lead them to the perpetrator. The community held its breath, hoping that justice would be served and the killer apprehended. As the investigation unfolded, a possible motive began to emerge. Rachel Santos, a colleague of Jane's at Fresno General Hospital, found herself under the scrutiny of the detectives. The police believed that a personal grudge or a sexual rivalry could have driven Rachel to commit such a heinous act. But as they interrogated her, Rachel's response was one of genuine shock and confusion. She vehemently denied any involvement in Jane's murder, leaving the detectives back at square one. The media frenzy surrounding the case grew, with local news outlets reporting every development and speculation. The community was on high alert, locking their doors and looking over their shoulders, fearful of who the next victim might be. The name Marjorie Jackson had started to circulate, but without concrete evidence, the authorities were hesitant to act. As the summer heat continued to bear down on Fresno, the search for answers intensified. The detectives tirelessly pursued every lead, hoping to bring an end to the reign of terror that had gripped their city. They knew that time was of the essence, that another life hung in the balance. The shocking truth behind the heinous crimes that had plagued the quiet town of Fresno, California in August of 1994 finally came to light. The perpetrator, a seemingly innocuous 63-year-old mother-in-law named Marjorie Jackson, was unveiled as the true serial killer. Marjorie's motive for the murders was a deep-seated resentment towards her own son, Abel, whom she blamed for the troubles in her marriage to her alcoholic husband, Kevin. As the investigation unfolded, the police pieced together the puzzle of Marjorie's sinister actions. It was revealed that Marjorie meticulously planned each murder, leaving behind no trace of her involvement. Her calculated moves kept the authorities baffled until a crucial turning point in the case occurred. On August 20th, 1994, a call was made to 911. A woman named Judy Sinal Jackson, who happened to be Marjorie's daughter-in-law, bravely stepped forward with a shocking revelation. She declared, "My mother-in-law is a serial killer," and explicitly named Marjorie Jackson as the true perpetrator behind the string of murders that had terrorized the community. However, the police dismissed Judy's claims. They dismissed her as a hysterical woman, blinded by her grievances against her mother-in-law. However, unbeknownst to them, Judy's call would prove to be the turning point in the investigation. As the detectives revisited the evidence, they began to connect the dots. They discovered a pattern that tied Marjorie to each of the victims. The meticulous planning, the calculated timing, and the brutal nature of the murders all pointed towards Marjorie's involvement. It became clear that she had carefully selected her victims, targeting those who had some connection to her own family, as Claire was once Abel's sex partner, Henry was Abel's history teacher, and Abel was the secret father of Rayler, Jane's son. The media frenzy surrounding the case intensified as the truth unfolded. Local newspapers such as the Fresno Bee and television news channels like KSE24 covered the story extensively, capturing the shock and disbelief that reverberated through the community. Residents were left in a state of fear and disbelief, realizing that a serial killer had been operating right under their noses. On the brutally hot day of August 25, 1994, the Fresno Police Department made a breakthrough in their investigation into a string of grisly murders that had plagued the community. The prime suspect, Marjorie Jackson, a seemingly unassuming 63-year-old mother-in-law, was finally apprehended, bringing an end to her reign of terror. The arrest of Marjorie Jackson sent shockwaves through the victims' families and the entire community. For weeks, they had lived in fear, wondering who could be responsible for the brutal deaths of their loved ones. The capture of Marjorie brought a sense of relief, but also a deep sense of betrayal. How could someone so close, someone they had trusted, be capable of such heinous acts? The arrest of Marjorie Jackson was a significant moment in Fresno's history. The media coverage surrounding the case was extensive, with newspapers and television stations reporting on every detail. The community grappled with the realization that evil could lurk in their midst, even within their own families. As Marjorie was led away in handcuffs, her face a mix of surprise and resignation, the community began the process of healing. The scars left by her crimes would forever remain, but with her capture, they could finally start to find closure. The trial that followed the shocking revelations of Marjorie Jackson's crimes was a riveting courtroom drama that captivated California's Central Valley. District Attorney Paula Ingrezza led the prosecution, presenting a compelling case against the seemingly innocuous mother-in-law turned serial killer. Defense attorney Valerie Lindenscope fought tooth and nail to cast doubt on the evidence, but the weight of the facts proved insurmountable. The courtroom was packed with spectators, eager to witness justice being served. Media outlets, including the renowned Fresno Bee and Los Angeles Times, covered the trial, providing updates on the proceedings. The tension in the air was palpable as the victims' families, still reeling from the loss of their loved ones, watched with a mix of anger, grief, and hope for justice. The prosecution meticulously presented the evidence, painting a vivid picture of Marjorie's motive and modus operandi. They called upon expert witnesses, such as renowned forensic pathologist Dr. Jacob Rolshaden, who testified to the brutality of the murders and the consistency of Marjorie's methods. The defense, on the other hand, attempted to poke holes in the prosecution's case, questioning the reliability of certain witnesses and raising doubts about the credibility of the evidence. As the trial unfolded, the courtroom was filled with emotional testimonies from friends, neighbors, and colleagues of the victims. They spoke of the impact the victims had on their lives and the void left by their untimely deaths. The prosecution also presented chilling evidence, including Marjorie's meticulously kept journal, in which she detailed her dark thoughts and plans for each murder. Judge William Bathtub Commerce presided over the trial, ensuring that both sides had a fair opportunity to present their case. He meticulously reviewed the evidence and provided clear instructions to the jury, emphasizing the importance of impartiality and the need to consider only the facts presented in the courtroom. After days of deliberation, the jury rendered their verdict, guilty. The courtroom erupted in applause and tears as the victim's family finally found some closure. Judge Commerce, in delivering the sentence, expressed his disgust at Marjorie's actions, sentencing her to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The trial of Marjorie Jackson will forever be remembered as a chilling reminder that evil can lurk in the most unexpected places. It serves as a testament to the dedication and perseverance of law enforcement officials, prosecutors, and the justice system as a whole in bringing criminals to justice. In the wake of the trial, the lives of those involved took divergent paths. Judy Sinal Jackson, the daughter-in-law who inadvertently exposed Marjorie as the serial killer, found solace in the support of her family and friends. She sought therapy to cope with the trauma of discovering the dark secret lurking within her own home. Judy's resilience and determination to rebuild her life earned her admiration from her community and the media, who dubbed her the boy who cried wolf of Fresno. She would go on to become an advocate for victims of domestic violence, using her own experience to shed light on the hidden dangers that can exist within families. Abel Jackson, the son of serial killer Marjorie Jackson and the alleged reason for the murders, struggled to come to terms with the shocking revelation that his own mother had been a murderer. He sought solace in the arms of his wife and children, finding strength in their love and support. Abel, a talented artist, channeled his pain into his work, creating hauntingly beautiful portraits of his mother and the other victims. His artwork was featured in a local gallery. The victims' families, united in their grief, formed a support group to navigate the complex emotions that accompanied their unimaginable loss. They met regularly, sharing stories and memories of their loved ones, finding comfort in the understanding and empathy of those who had experienced similar tragedies. Together, they created a memorial garden in Fresno's Woodward Park, a serene oasis where the names of the victims were etched into a marble monument, forever honoring their memory. As the years passed, the wounds slowly healed, but the scars remained. The victims' families found solace in the knowledge that justice had been served and their loved ones could finally rest in peace. The community, forever changed by the events of that fateful summer in 1994, vowed to never forget the lives lost to Marjorie Jackson's reign of terror. And so, we reached the end of this harrowing tale. In Fresno, California, in August of 1994, the lives of Claire Bey, Henry Reinvoke, and Jane Fasenra were tragically cut short by the hands of Marjorie Jackson, a mother-in-law turned serial killer. Through meticulous police work and the strength of the victims' families, justice was served. This story serves as a chilling reminder that evil can lurk in the most unexpected places, even within our own families.
Dany Scale, a vivacious and outgoing 42-year-old woman, was widely known for her charm, wit, and remarkable success in the real estate industry. Residing in the picturesque coastal city of Newport Beach, California, Dany thrived on closing deals and took great pride in her professional achievements. However, beneath her confident exterior, Dany grappled with lingering doubts about her marriage to Jonathan Scale, her enigmatic husband, and questioned the authenticity of his intentions. In November of 2011, Dany's life was forever ended, releasing the dark secrets lurking within her seemingly idyllic marriage. The affluent community of Newport Beach, known for its luxurious estates and pristine beaches, became the backdrop for its chilling tale of deception and violence. As we delve into Dany's story, it is crucial to understand the context in which it unfolded. Newport Beach, with its gleaming yachts and upscale boutiques, had long been a haven for the wealthy and influential. Famous as the setting for the famous Fox teen drama, The O.C., the city's close proximity to Los Angeles also made it an attractive destination for those seeking a blend of opulence and tranquility. Dany, with her impeccable taste and eye for luxury, effortlessly navigated the social circles of Newport Beach. She was a regular attendee at exclusive charity galas and frequented the trendy cafes that lined the city's bustling streets. Her magnetic personality and striking beauty garnered attention wherever she went, making her a sought-after companion among the city's elite. However, beneath the glamorous facade, Dany's personal life was shrouded in uncertainty. She often confided in close friends about her concerns regarding Jonathan, her husband of just 6 months, a man whose intentions remained elusive. Despite their outwardly happy appearance, whispers of marital discord and hidden secrets circulated among Newport Beach's tight-knit community. On a chilly November evening in 2011, a peaceful neighborhood in Newport Beach, California was shattered by a heinous crime that would forever change the lives of its residents. The vibrant and bustling community, known for its picturesque beaches and luxurious lifestyle, was now engulfed in a cloud of fear and uncertainty. Dany Scale, a 42-year-old woman with a successful career in real estate, had become the victim of a brutal and senseless act of violence. As the news of her tragic demise spread like wildfire, shockwaves reverberated through the tight-knit community, leaving its residents in a state of disbelief. It was Robbie Matheson, a close friend, neighbor, and local fashion designer, who stumbled upon the gruesome scene that fateful evening. Robbie, known for his impeccable taste and keen eye for detail, had dropped by Dany's house for a friendly visit. Little did he know that he would soon be thrust into a nightmare. As he entered Dany's opulent home, the air was heavy with an eerie silence. The house, adorned with expensive furniture and tasteful artwork, had an unsettling stillness that sent a chill down Robbie's spine. He called out for Dany, but there was no response. Concerned, he cautiously made his way upstairs, the creaking of the wooden steps echoing through the empty hallway. Upon reaching the master bedroom, Robbie's heart sank. There, lying lifeless on the bed, was Dany. Her once vibrant and radiant presence had been extinguished, leaving behind a void that could never be filled. The sight was both shocking and heart-wrenching, and Robbie's mind raced with a flood of emotions. In a state of panic, Robbie immediately dialed 911, his voice trembling as he relayed the horrifying discovery to the authorities. Within minutes, police cars and ambulances descended upon the quiet neighborhood, their flashing lights illuminating the darkness of the night. The once peaceful neighborhood now bore the weight of a dark secret, and its residents grappled with the realization that evil could lurk even in the most idyllic of places. November 2011, a month that should have been filled with anticipation for the upcoming holiday season, had now become a haunting reminder of the fragility of life. As news of Dany Scale's tragic death spread throughout the affluent community of Newport Beach, California, the police wasted no time in launching a thorough investigation into the chilling crime. Seasoned investigators Detective Morgan Hatoyevsky and Detective Polita Rodriguez were assigned to unravel the mystery surrounding Dany's untimely demise. Upon arriving at the crime scene, the detectives were met with a somber atmosphere that hung heavy in the air. The bedroom, once a sanctuary for Dany, now held the grim evidence of a violent struggle. With a keen eye for detail, Detective Hatoyevsky and Detective Rodriguez meticulously combed through the room, searching for any clues that could provide insight into the identity of the perpetrator. The absence of forced entry puzzled the investigators. How could someone have gained access to Dany's bedroom without leaving behind any trace? The detectives examined the windows and doors, meticulously checking for signs of tampering. They even enlisted the help of forensic experts to dust for fingerprints and collect DNA samples, hoping to find a breakthrough. As Detective Hatoyevsky and Detective Rodriguez tirelessly pursued leads and followed every possible avenue of inquiry, they remained determined to bring closure to Dany's grieving loved ones. The clock was ticking, and the pressure to solve the case mounted with each passing day. Jonathan Scale, a 55-year-old man, emerged as the primary suspect in the murder investigation of his wife, Dany Scale. With his suave demeanor and a facade of success, Jonathan managed to charm those around him, concealing his true nature as a master manipulator. As the investigation deepens, detectives are determined to uncover the truth behind Dany's tragic demise. Detective Morgan Hatoyevsky and Detective Polita Rodriguez, seasoned investigators with a wealth of experience, took charge of the case. Their first focus was Jonathan, the man closest to Dany. With their investigative instincts honed, the detectives meticulously interrogated him, hoping to peel back the layers of deception and uncover the truth. Jonathan, a self-proclaimed entrepreneur, had carefully crafted an image of success and prosperity. However, the detectives soon discovered a darker side to his seemingly perfect life. Despite being refused permission to look into his financial records, the police managed to uncover a web of deceit and mounting debts. It became clear that Jonathan's lavish lifestyle was built on a foundation of lies and borrowed money. As the detectives probed further, they unearthed a series of suspicious activities in the months leading up to Dany's murder. Bank statements revealed large withdrawals and unexplained transfers from Dany's funds, raising red flags. Witnesses also came forward, recounting instances of Jonathan's volatile temper and controlling behavior towards Dany. The investigation took a dramatic turn when an anonymous tip led the detectives to a storage unit rented under Jonathan's name.
Inside, they discovered a hidden cache of evidence, including a bloodstained shirt, something he claimed was from an accident playing basketball. The discovery sent shockwaves through the investigative team, providing a crucial link between Jonathan and the crime scene. The truth, hidden beneath layers of deception, was slowly being unraveled, bringing justice closer for Dany and closure for her loved ones. As the investigation into the murder of Dany Scale unfolded, another person of interest emerged, Jason J-Boy Hermosa, a 19-year-old with a taste for the finer things in life. Jason was no stranger to the affluent community of Newport Beach, California, where he was something of a modern-day male geisha to Orange County's elite. A frequent guest at high-end parties and exclusive events, his striking good looks and charismatic personality made him a sought-after companion among the elite. But behind the glamorous facade, Jason possessed a manipulative and controlling nature. He saw Jonathan Scale, Dany's husband and his current lover, as his ticket to a world of luxury. Their secret affair had been brewing for months, hidden beneath the surface of Newport Beach's pristine reputation. The affair was a dangerous game of sex and deceit, with Jason yearning for the wealth and status that Jonathan seemed to possess effortlessly. The police, eager to uncover any connections to the crime, focused their attention on Jason. They brought him in for questioning, hoping to peel back the layers of deception and uncover the truth. Jason's response was a volatile mix of anger and denial. He vehemently distanced himself from any involvement in Dany's murder, swearing on his life that he had nothing to do with her or the heinous act. His alibi, he claimed, was attending a high-profile charity event on the night of the crime. He even provided photographs and news articles from that evening as evidence, showcasing his presence among the city's elite. The detectives scrutinized the evidence, carefully examining the photographs and articles. They cross-referenced Jason's alibi with witness statements and surveillance footage from the event. The pieces of the puzzle began to come together, painting a picture of a young man desperate to escape his own reality and immerse himself in a world of opulence. The case of Dany Scale's murder was far from over. With two suspects in the spotlight, the detectives faced the daunting task of unraveling the truth from a web of lies and deception. As they dug deeper, they would soon discover that the secrets hidden in the shadows of Newport Beach were darker and more sinister than anyone could have imagined. In a stunning turn of events, the investigation into the murder of Dany Scale took a dramatic twist when a hidden safe was discovered by Robbie Matheson, a close friend and neighbor of the victim. This breakthrough occurred on an unusually rainy day in Newport Beach, California, in November of 2011. Inside the hidden safe, the police found a treasure trove of financial records that exposed a web of deceit and fraud orchestrated by Jonathan Scale, Dany's husband. The records revealed him as the head of a multi-million-dollar Ponzi scheme that spanned across 6 states, involving real estate ventures, a chain of daycares, and even a network of strip clubs. This shocking revelation left the investigators in utter disbelief, as they realized they were dealing with a criminal empire far more complex than they had initially anticipated. The evidence uncovered in the safe detailed Jonathan's elaborate scheme, which had ensnared unsuspecting investors and left a trail of financial ruin in its wake. The records showed falsified documents, forged signatures, and a complex network of shell companies designed to mask the illegal activities. The police now had a clearer understanding of Jonathan's motive for silencing Dany, as she had become a potential threat to his fraudulent empire. As news of the discovery spread, media outlets seized upon the story, dubbing it the Newport Beach Ponzi scandal. Journalists delved into the intricate details of the scheme, uncovering the extent of Jonathan's fraudulent activities, revealing him to be a fake millionaire. The scandal sent shockwaves through the community, tarnishing the reputation of Newport Beach, an affluent coastal city known for its picturesque beaches and luxurious lifestyle. With the newfound evidence, the police intensified their efforts to bring Jonathan to justice. They meticulously analyzed the financial records, cross-referencing them with other ongoing investigations into similar Ponzi schemes. The collaboration between law enforcement agencies from multiple states became crucial in unraveling the full extent of Jonathan's criminal activities. The investigation into the murder of Dany Scale had now evolved into a high-profile case that captivated the nation. The media circus surrounding the Newport Beach Ponzi scandal only added to the pressure on the police to solve the murder and dismantle Jonathan's fraudulent empire. IIA Evans, a 24-year-old activist with a strong sense of social justice, found herself entangled in the investigation surrounding the murder of Dany Scale. IIA, known for her unwavering determination and passion for social causes, had long suspected Jonathan Scale, Dany's husband, of being involved in illicit activities. Her suspicions were fueled by rumors, later proven true, circulating in the close-knit rich community of Newport Beach, California. On a chilly November morning in 2011, IIA was called in for questioning by the police. The interrogation room was dimly lit, casting long shadows on the walls. Detective Morgan Hatoyevsky, a seasoned investigator, sat across from her, his piercing gaze fixed on her every move. IIA, dressed in her signature black hoodie and worn-out sneakers, maintained an air of defiance as she answered the detective's questions. She vehemently denied any involvement in Dany's murder, her voice quivering with a mix of anger and determination. "I may be an activist, but I would never resort to violence," she declared, her words echoing through the sterile room. The detective pressed on, probing for any evidence that could link IIA to the crime. He raised his eyebrows, his skepticism evident, as he presented her with photographs taken at a protest she had organized against Jonathan's alleged fraudulent activities. IIA's eyes narrowed, her resolve growing stronger as she explained, "I may have been vocal about his corruption, but I believe in exposing the truth through peaceful means." As the interrogation continued,
IIA recounted her encounters with Jonathan, describing his extravagant lifestyle and the aura of power that surrounded him. She spoke of the rumors she had heard about his involvement in an interstate network of strip clubs and a chain of daycares, all part of an elaborate Ponzi scheme. Her words painted a vivid picture of a man consumed by greed and willing to go to great lengths to protect his empire. Despite the lack of concrete evidence linking IIA to the crime, the police were determined to explore every lead. They scrutinized her alibi, interviewed her acquaintances, and searched for any connection she might have had to the murder. IIA remained steadfast, her unwavering belief in justice propelling her forward. In a stunning turn of events, the police cracked the case of Dany Scale's murder and apprehended the culprit responsible for this heinous crime. Jonathan Scale, the victim's own husband, was taken into custody, facing charges related to her untimely demise. The breakthrough in the investigation came when a secret audio tape was discovered, capturing Dany's chilling words about her husband. "My husband is a fake millionaire." This revelation provided a crucial piece of evidence that helped connect the dots and shed light on the sinister truth behind Dany's murder. Jonathan, who presented himself as a successful entrepreneur, was revealed to be living a life built on lies and deceit. Behind his polished exterior, he had been running a multi-million-dollar Ponzi scheme, defrauding unsuspecting thousands of victims across 6 states. Shockingly, his fraudulent activities extended beyond real estate, encompassing a chain of daycares and even a network of strip clubs. The police, armed with this newfound evidence, were able to establish Jonathan's motive for silencing his wife. By eliminating Dany, he sought to protect his ill-gotten wealth and maintain his false image as a wealthy individual. However, his carefully constructed facade crumbled when the police uncovered the truth. The arrest of Jonathan Scale sent shockwaves through the community of Newport Beach, California. This affluent neighborhood, known for its picturesque landscapes and luxurious lifestyle, was rocked by this dark and disturbing crime. The residents, who once admired Jonathan for his apparent success, are now left reeling from the realization that they were living alongside a master manipulator and a cold-blooded murderer. The courtroom was filled with anticipation as the trial of Jonathan Scale, the man accused of orchestrating the murder of his wife, Dany Scale, reached its climax. The prosecution, led by the determined and passionate prosecutor, Dana Chiu, meticulously presented a compelling case against Jonathan. The defense, represented by the skilled attorney, Reynolds Bastani, fought tooth and nail to protect Jonathan's interests. Throughout the trial, the courtroom was captivated by the testimonies of witnesses and the presentation of evidence. The prosecution called upon Detective Morgan Hatoyevsky and Detective Polita Rodriguez, the seasoned investigators who meticulously combed through the crime scene, to testify. They recounted the chilling details of the crime scene and the painstaking efforts they undertook to uncover the truth. The defense, on the other hand, sought to cast doubt on the evidence presented by the prosecution. They called upon expert witnesses to challenge the credibility of certain pieces of evidence, attempting to create reasonable doubt in the minds of the jurors. However, their efforts were met with skepticism as the prosecution skillfully dismantled their arguments.
After weeks of intense deliberation, the jury finally reached a verdict. The tension in the courtroom was palpable as the foreperson stood up to deliver the verdict. Guilty. The word reverberated through the room, leaving Jonathan Scale stunned. His carefully constructed facade crumbled before his eyes as the reality of his actions sank in. The sentencing, which took place a few weeks later, marked the end of Jonathan's reign of deception. The judge, taking into account the severity of the crime and Jonathan's lack of remorse, handed down a sentence of life behind bars, a fitting punishment for a man who had shattered the lives of those who loved him. As the trial came to a close, the impact of the verdict rippled through the lives of the victims' friends and family. The trial served as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of greed and the length some individuals would go to protect their secrets. Following the conclusion of the trial, the lives of those involved in the case took divergent paths. Jonathan Scale, the mastermind behind the murder of his wife, faced the consequences of his heinous actions as he began his sentence behind bars. The courtroom was abuzz with a mix of emotions as the guilty verdict for his Ponzi scheme was announced, marking the end of Jonathan's reign of deception. Meanwhile, the dedicated police investigators, Detective Morgan Hatoyevsky and Detective Polita Rodriguez, continued their tireless pursuit of justice. They remained committed to ensuring that no stone was left unturned in their quest for truth. Their unwavering determination and meticulous attention to detail were instrumental in bringing Jonathan to justice. In the aftermath of the trial, the community of Newport Beach began to slowly regain its sense of security. The shocking murder had sent shockwaves through the close-knit neighborhood, leaving residents on edge. With Jonathan Scale behind bars, a collective sigh of relief could be felt as the community began to rebuild and restore its once tranquil atmosphere, but not before drawing attention to the intricacies of the criminal justice system and the devastating consequences of greed. The case of Dany Scale, the woman whose dying words exposed her husband's web of lies, serves as a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of seemingly perfect lives. In the affluent city of Newport Beach, a community shattered by deceit and violence learned that even the most charming facade can hide the most sinister secrets. Lily Viance, a warm-hearted and caring individual, was a pillar of her family. At the age of 40, she dedicated her life to her husband and 2 children, Vicky and Becton, ensuring their happiness and well-being. Her nurturing personality extended beyond the confines of her home, as she actively participated in her children's lives, organizing playdates and engaging in various activities that fostered their growth and development. She was known among her friends and neighbors as a pillar of support, always ready with a listening ear and a helping hand. In addition to her role as a loving mother, Lily pursued her passion for writing as a freelance writer. She immersed herself in the world of online publications, contributing articles that showcased her talent and creativity. Lily's dedication to her craft was evident in every piece she produced, capturing the attention of readers and earning her a respectable reputation within the writing community. March of 2004 was a time of hope and anticipation for Lily. The cherry blossoms bloomed, painting the streets of Beaverton, Oregon with delicate shades of pink. The local community buzzed with excitement for the upcoming St. Patrick's Day Parade, a cherished tradition that brought together people from all walks of life. As we delve deeper into this true crime case, we will unravel the web of deception that entangled Lily Viance. Join us as we navigate the twists and turns of this tragic tale, questioning the true nature of those closest to Lily in a quest for knowledge and justice. In a quiet neighborhood of Beaverton, Oregon, tragedy struck on the morning of March 29, 2004. Lily Viance, a devoted wife and mother, met a horrifying fate within the walls of her own home. The discovery of her lifeless body sent shockwaves through the close-knit community, leaving friends and family in a state of disbelief. The grim revelation was made by Patty Berlin, a trusted family friend who had come over for a routine visit. Little did she know that this visit would forever change her life. As Patty entered the Viance residence, the atmosphere seemed eerily still. The air carried a sense of unease, as if a dark secret was lurking behind closed doors. As she made her way through the house, Patty's heart sank when she stumbled upon Lily's lifeless body. The room was filled with an eerie silence, broken only by the sound of Patty's trembling breath. She immediately dialed emergency services, her voice filled with anguish as she relayed the devastating news to the dispatcher. Within minutes, the police arrived at the scene, their sirens piercing the tranquility of the neighborhood. The officers carefully examined the crime scene, meticulously documenting every detail. The room where Lily's body lay became a haunting tableau of sorrow and unanswered questions. News of the tragic incident spread like wildfire throughout the community. The local media outlets, such as the Beaverton Tribune and KATU News, were quick to report on the shocking discovery. The town, usually known for its peaceful, blandly suburban charm, was now gripped by a sense of fear and uncertainty. The tragic investigation into the death of Lily Viance would prove to be a complex and arduous task for the authorities as they sought to uncover the truth behind this chilling crime. The Beaverton Police Department swiftly responded to the distressing call on the morning of March 29, 2004. Detectives Audrey Buscare and Rainey Pochette, seasoned investigators with a reputation for their unwavering determination, were assigned to the case. As they arrived at the scene, a sense of urgency filled the air, and their focused expressions mirrored the gravity of the situation. The crime scene, Lily Viance's terrene home, became the center of meticulous scrutiny. Every inch of the house was combed through with painstaking precision as the detectives sought to unravel the truth behind Lily's untimely demise. The room where she was tragically suffocated to death with a pillow presented a haunting sight. The air hung heavy with the scent of despair, as if the very walls mourned the loss of a beloved member of the community. Despite the absence of any visible signs of struggle or forced entry, the detectives were determined to leave no stone unturned. They meticulously examined every nook and cranny, searching for even the tiniest clue that could shed light on the chilling mystery. The atmosphere crackled with a mix of suspense and anticipation as the investigators methodically collected evidence, ensuring that no detail was overlooked. The investigation team's efforts were complemented by cutting-edge forensic technology, which brought a new level of precision to the examination of the crime scene. Dusting for fingerprints, analyzing DNA samples, and scouring the area for trace evidence became routine tasks for the forensic experts involved in the case. The room was transformed into a laboratory of truth, where science and logic intertwined in the pursuit of justice. As news of the shocking crime spread, the community of Beaverton united in grief and fear. The local media outlets, such as the Beaverton Gazette and the Oregon Daily News, covered the story extensively, highlighting the impact of the tragedy on the close-knit neighborhood. March of 2004 became a time of collective unease in Beaverton as the investigation continued to unfold. The detectives, driven by their commitment to justice, worked tirelessly day and night. The weight of responsibility rested on their shoulders as they sought to bring closure to Lily Viance's grieving family and restore a sense of security to the community. Mike Viance, a 46-year-old man from Beaverton, Oregon, became the prime suspect in the shocking murder case of his wife, Lily Viance. The investigation revealed a web of secrets and lies that Mike had carefully hidden from his beloved wife. Described by neighbors as reserved and analytical, Mike had always presented himself as a devoted husband and father. However, behind closed doors, he was running an online business that was far from the idyllic family life he portrayed. The police, led by detectives Audrey Buscare and Rainey Pochette, delved deep into Mike's hidden world, uncovering a potential motive rooted in his fear of Lily discovering his illicit activities. Mike's secret online business was no ordinary venture. The investigation revealed that Mike had set up a sophisticated network of buyers and sellers using code names and encrypted communication channels to evade detection. He operated under the guise of a legitimate business, using a front company to launder money and cover his tracks. The police meticulously analyzed his financial records, tracing the flow of funds and uncovering a complex web of transactions that pointed directly to Mike's involvement in some illegal trade. As the detectives interrogated Mike, his facade of innocence began to crumble. Anger and defensiveness seeped through his carefully crafted veneer, raising suspicions among the investigators. The pieces of the puzzle started to fit together. Mike's possible motive became clear. He couldn't afford for Lily to discover the truth about his secret internet activities, as it would not only jeopardize his freedom and finances, but also expose their family to danger. As the case unfolded, the community of Beaverton watched with bated breath, wondering if the unassuming Mike Viance was indeed capable of such a heinous act. The answer to that question lay buried in the gigabytes of data on his home computer and in the depths of the internet's shadowy corners. Wade Caterpie, a 24-year-old close friend of Lily Viance, emerged as a person of interest in the ongoing investigation into her tragic death. In the tranquil suburban town of Beaverton, Oregon, where everyone seemingly knows everyone, Wade was known for his vibrant personality and close bond with Lily. However, beneath the friendly facade, there may have been a simmering envy towards Lily's husband, Mike Viance. As the investigation deepened, detectives Audrey Buscare and Rainey Pochette turned their attention to Wade, seeking to uncover any potential motivations or involvement in this heinous crime. The police have been diligently piecing together the puzzle of Lily's murder, leaving no stone unturned. Wade's initial shock and disbelief upon hearing the news quickly transformed into a defensive stance as the police questioned him. He vehemently denied any wrongdoing, but the detectives remained steadfast in their pursuit of the truth. Their investigation has revealed a series of intriguing details surrounding Wade's relationship with Lily and his potential motive. The authorities uncovered evidence suggesting that Wade may have harbored deep-seated feelings of envy towards Mike Viance. Friends and acquaintances recall Wade's occasional remarks about Mike's success and the seemingly perfect life he had built with Lily. These feelings of envy, coupled with Wade's close proximity to the couple, have raised suspicions among the investigators. Furthermore, the detectives discovered a series of heated arguments between Wade and Lily in the months leading up to her untimely demise. These arguments centered around Wade's discontent with his own life and his perceived inadequacies when compared to Mike. The police explored whether these arguments could have escalated into something far more sinister. As the investigation progresses, the detectives left no stone unturned. They were meticulously analyzing phone records, interviewing potential witnesses, and scrutinizing Wade's alibi during the time of the crime. The detectives are also examining Wade's online presence, searching for any clues that may shed light on his potential involvement. As the investigation into Lily Viance's tragic murder unfolded, the police were met with a breakthrough that would send shockwaves through the community. On a rainy afternoon in Beaverton, Oregon, a passerby stumbled upon a hidden compartment in Mike Viance's home office, unearthing a dark secret that would expose the true nature of his sinister activities. Inside the hidden compartment, the police discovered a trove of incriminating documents and records that revealed the extent of Mike's involvement in a clandestine online business. It was revealed that Mike was the owner-operator of a website known as Live Girls Now, which operated as an international online slave market for women and girls. The evidence collected painted a chilling picture of the operation. Detailed records showed the names, ages, and personal information of hundreds of victims, each one a tragic casualty of this heinous crime. The website had been operating for 5 years, exploiting vulnerable individuals and perpetuating a cycle of abuse, suffering, and slavery. The police wasted no time in seizing the evidence, meticulously documenting each piece to build a solid case against Mike Viance. They worked tirelessly, cross-referencing the information with missing person reports and collaborating with law enforcement agencies across the globe to identify and rescue the victims involved. As news of the investigation spread, shockwaves rippled through the community, leaving residents in disbelief that such a dark operation could have been operating right under their noses. The case garnered significant media attention, with local news outlets shining a spotlight on the chilling crimes committed by Mike Viance. March of 2004 became a turning point in the fight against human trafficking, as the revelations surrounding Live Girls now prompted a wave of public outrage and a renewed commitment to combat this insidious crime. Nonprofit organizations and law enforcement agencies joined forces, launching awareness campaigns and dedicating resources to rescue victims and bring the perpetrators to justice. The investigation into Lily Viance's murder had taken an unexpected turn, uncovering a web of darkness that extended far beyond the confines of her tragic demise. As the police continued their relentless pursuit of justice, they were determined to ensure that the victims of Live Girls now would find solace and that Mike Viance would face the full weight of the law. In a shocking turn of events, the investigation into Lily Viance's tragic murder took an unexpected twist with the emergence of Harris Caltran, a 21-year-old amateur detective with a troubled past. Known for his run-ins with the law, Harris had a rap sheet filled with violence towards women, dating back to when he was just 12 years old. Despite his checkered history, Harris presented himself as a determined amateur detective seeking justice for Lily. The police, already grappling with the complexities of the case, turned their attention towards Harris. They interrogated him extensively, probing into his motives and potential involvement in the crime. Harris's anger and frustration were palpable as he vehemently denied any connection to Lily's murder. To understand Harris's possible involvement, the police delved into his background. They discovered that Harris had a fascination with true crime stories and had spent countless hours studying criminal investigations. His knowledge of forensic techniques and crime scene analysis, while amateur, was still impressive, leading some to believe he could be an asset to the investigation. As the investigation progressed, the police uncovered a series of emails exchanged between Harris and Lily. These emails revealed a shared interest in true crime and a mutual desire to uncover the truth. The police wondered if Harris's involvement went beyond mere curiosity. To further complicate matters, Harris had recently been involved in a local dispute with a group of individuals who were known to be involved in criminal activities. The police explored the possibility of a connection between this dispute and Lily's murder, but the evidence remained circumstantial at best. With the investigation still ongoing, the police were left with more questions than answers. Was Harris a genuine crusader for justice, or was he hiding a dark secret? Only time would tell. In a shocking turn of events, the true mastermind behind the heinous murder of Lily Viance was revealed. After weeks of tireless investigation, the police identified and apprehended the culprit responsible for snuffing out the life of this beloved mother and freelance writer. Mike Viance, the husband of the victim, was exposed as the cold-blooded murderer who orchestrated this chilling crime. Mike's motive was that he feared Lily's discovery of his illicit activities. The discovery of his secret online business, Live Girls Now, shed light on his sinister motives. This website, operating as an international online slave market for women and girls, was a dark and twisted operation, a sort of eBay for human beings that exploited the vulnerability of innocent lives. The evidence against Mike was overwhelming, leaving investigators with no doubt about his involvement in Lily's murder. The police found incriminating documents and records hidden in a secret compartment of his home office. These damning materials provided a glimpse into the depths of his depravity. It is truly horrifying to think that such a heinous enterprise was thriving right under the noses of his wife, kids, and the unsuspecting community. The police swiftly apprehended Mike Viance, bringing an end to his reign of terror. The arrest took place in the very same town where the infamous Oregon Vortex, a mysterious natural phenomenon, had captured the attention of the nation just a few years prior. The arrest sent shockwaves through the tight-knit community of Beaverton, Oregon. Friends and neighbors were left in disbelief, struggling to reconcile the image they had of a devoted husband and father with the cold-blooded killer he turned out to be. This case serves as a stark reminder that evil can lurk in the most unexpected places, even within the confines of a seemingly idyllic suburban neighborhood. As the news of Mike Viance's arrest spread, it served as a sobering reminder of the dangers that can lurk behind closed doors. It is a testament to the tireless efforts of law enforcement and the importance of community vigilance in safeguarding against such atrocities. The trial that followed the shocking murder of Lily Viance in March 2004 gripped the small suburb of Beaverton, Oregon. As the courtroom doors swung open, District Attorney Rebecca Bylofsky and Defense Attorney David Dean Busker prepared to battle it out in front of a jury of 12 ordinary citizens. The prosecution wasted no time in presenting a compelling case against the defendant, Mike Viance. With meticulous attention to detail, they painted a vivid picture of Lily's tragic fate and the sinister underbelly of Mike's secret internet business. Expert witnesses, such as forensic pathologists and computer analysts, took the stand to testify to the overwhelming evidence against the accused. One of the key pieces of evidence presented was the discovery of a hidden compartment in Mike's home office. Inside, the police found incriminating documents and records of his online slave market, Live Girls Now. The courtroom gasped in disbelief as the extent of Mike's depravity was revealed. The prosecution argued that Mike's fear of Lily uncovering his illicit activities drove him to commit the heinous act. Defense attorney David Dean Buscare fought tooth and nail to undermine the prosecution's case. He attempted to cast doubt on the validity of the evidence, questioning the reliability of witnesses and challenging the methods used to gather information. Buscare argued that the hidden compartment could have been tampered with, suggesting the possibility of a setup. After weeks of testimonies, cross-examinations, and impassioned closing arguments, the jury retired to deliberate. The town held its breath as the verdict was announced. Guilty, Mike Viance was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life imprisonment with the possibility of parole. As the courtroom emptied, Lily's family and friends found a bittersweet solace in the verdict. Justice had been served, but the void left by Lily's absence remained. The community, scarred by the tragedy, vowed to come together and support one another in the healing process. After the trial that captivated the small town of Beaverton, Oregon, the lives of those involved took different paths. Lily Viance's family, still grappling with the pain of their loss, found solace in the support of their community. The local church, St. Mary's, organized a memorial service to honor Lily's memory, bringing together friends, neighbors, and even strangers who were touched by her kindness. The service was filled with tears and heartfelt tributes, as people shared stories of Lily's impact on their lives. Wade Caterpie, burdened by his unrequited love for Lily, sought help from a grief counselor named Dr. Darna Sanchez. Dr. Sanchez, a respected psychologist in the community, guided Wade through the process of healing and self-discovery. Through this journey, Wade learned to channel his emotions into positive outlets, such as writing poetry and volunteering at the local animal shelter. Harris Caltran, the amateur detective with a troubled past, continued his quest for justice. Inspired by Lily's tragic fate, Harris dedicated himself to advocating for victims of crime. He started a blog called Justice Seekers, where he shared stories of unsolved cases and raised awareness about the importance of community involvement in crime prevention. As for Mike Viance, his life took a drastic turn behind bars. Incarcerated at the Oregon State Penitentiary, Mike was confined to a small cell surrounded by concrete walls and steel bars. Stripped of his freedom, he was forced to confront the consequences of his heinous actions. In prison, Mike underwent counseling and therapy to address the underlying issues that led him down a path of darkness. March of 2004 marked a turning point for the community of Beaverton. The tragic events surrounding Lily Viance's murder shook the town to its core, but it also brought people together in a shared commitment to healing and justice. The story of Lily Viance's murder serves as a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath seemingly ordinary lives. It highlights the importance of trust, honesty, and the pursuit of justice.
Bethany Monto, age 36, was a dedicated and passionate high school English teacher residing in Wilmington, Delaware. Known for her kindness and creativity in the classroom, Bethany was admired by both her students and colleagues. Her unwavering commitment to helping others made her a beloved figure in the community. Despite facing personal challenges in her marriage, Bethany maintained a positive outlook and strived to make a difference in the lives of those around her. She dedicated her days to shaping young minds, always going the extra mile to ensure her students received the best education possible. Outside of the classroom, Bethany's love for wine led her to explore the local vineyards in Delaware. She would spend her weekends visiting wineries, immersing herself in the rich history and culture of the region's wine production. She became well-versed in the different grape varieties, fermentation processes, and the art of pairing wine with food. She had an impressive knowledge of various wine brands and was something of a wine connoisseur. Unfortunately, as many teachers in America know, her passion for teaching was not enough to pay the bills, and so she worked as a sommelier at a local upscale restaurant in downtown Wilmington to make ends meet, showcasing her passion for wine and providing recommendations to patrons. April of 2002 was a time of excitement and anticipation for Bethany. She had been selected to attend a prestigious education conference in New York City, where she would have the opportunity to connect with other educators and learn from experts in her field. This conference was highly regarded in the education community, and Bethany saw it as a chance to enhance her teaching skills and bring fresh ideas back to her students. Little did Bethany know that she would never go to this conference, would never go anywhere again. A tragic turn of events that would forever change the lives of those who knew and loved her. The investigation into her death would uncover a web of secrets and hidden motives, revealing a side of Bethany's life that no one could have imagined. On a fateful day in April 2002, the lifeless body of Bethany Monto, a beloved high school English teacher, was discovered in her residence located in Wilmington, Delaware. The date, forever etched in the minds of those involved in the investigation, was April 10th. The weather on that day was mild, with a gentle breeze sweeping through the streets of Wilmington as the city buzzed with the anticipation of the upcoming Easter holiday. It was early morning when tragedy struck the Monto household. Bethany's husband, Mark Anthony Monto, stumbled upon a scene that would forever haunt him. Shock and disbelief washed over him as he entered their home and discovered the lifeless body of his beloved wife. The room was filled with an eerie silence, broken only by the distant sound of birds chirping outside. The authorities were immediately alerted, and a team of seasoned detectives from the Wilmington Police Department swiftly arrived at the Monto residence. The entire house was cordoned off, and the investigation quickly gained media attention, with local news outlets such as the Wilmington Gazette and Channel 8 News reporting on the shocking crime. Neighbors, friends, and colleagues of Bethany Monto were left in a state of disbelief and grief. The tight-knit community rallied together, holding candlelight vigils and organizing fundraisers to support Bethany's grieving family. The tragedy sent shockwaves through the city of Wilmington, leaving its residents on edge and desperate for answers. As the investigation unfolded, the police remained tight-lipped about the details surrounding Bethany's murder. Rumors began to circulate, with some speculating that the crime was a result of a botched robbery, while others believed it to be a targeted attack. The uncertainty and fear that gripped the community were palpable, as everyone wondered who could commit such a heinous act against a beloved teacher. The police wasted no time in responding to the distressing discovery of Bethany Monto's lifeless body. On that fateful April day in 2002, the investigators arrived at the Monto residence with a sense of urgency, ready to unravel the truth behind this heinous crime. Detective Sarah Anders and Detective James Anders, the famous husband and wife team of the Wilmington Police, known for their meticulous approach to investigations, took charge of the case. They were determined to bring justice to Bethany and her grieving loved ones. As they entered the crime scene, the sense of foreboding hung in the air. The Monto residence, once a place of warmth and laughter, now stood as a haunting reminder of the tragedy that had unfolded. The investigators carefully observed their surroundings,
noting every detail that could potentially lead them closer to the truth. Traces of blood stained the walls and floor, a chilling testament to the violence that had taken place. Signs of a struggle were evident, with overturned furniture and shattered glass scattered throughout the room. It was clear that Bethany had fought for her life, leaving behind a harrowing scene for the investigators to piece together. One crucial piece of evidence stood out amongst the chaos: a glass of Chardonnay wine. The investigators suspected that this innocent-looking beverage had been used as the murder weapon. The toxic substance that tainted the wine was identified as deadly cyanide, a potent poison that could swiftly end a life. The investigators meticulously collected every possible clue, ensuring that no detail went unnoticed. They dusted for fingerprints, carefully bagged and labeled potential evidence, and photographed the crime scene from every angle. The room was meticulously combed for any trace of the perpetrator, any hint that would lead them closer to solving this chilling mystery. As the investigation progressed, the detectives reached out to experts in forensic science. They employed advanced techniques, analyzing the wine glass for DNA, fingerprints, and any other trace evidence that could link the killer to the crime. The clock was ticking, and the pressure to solve the case grew with each passing day. The investigation into the murder of Bethany Monto captivated the attention of the local community and garnered media coverage. News outlets such as the Wilmington Gazette and the Delaware Times reported on the progress of the investigation, keeping the public informed and engaged in the search for justice. With each passing day, the detectives inched closer to uncovering the truth behind Bethany's tragic demise. They knew that time was of the essence, and they were determined to bring the perpetrator to justice. In the investigation of the shocking murder of beloved high school English teacher Bethany Monto, the police turned their attention to her husband, Mark Anthony Monto. Mark, a 38-year-old, presented himself as a successful investment banker, but beneath his bland and pleasant facade lurked a web of secrets. Detectives Sarah Anders and James Anders, a husband and wife team known for their meticulous approach to solving crimes, suspected that Mark had a motive to eliminate Bethany. It was discovered that Mark had a life insurance policy worth a staggering $300,000 on his wife, raising eyebrows and leading investigators to delve deeper into his financial motivations. During the intense interrogation, Mark's emotions fluctuated between anger and calmness as he vehemently denied any involvement in his wife's murder. The detectives skillfully probed his alibi, scrutinizing the events leading up to the fateful day of Bethany's death. To establish a timeline, the detectives meticulously gathered evidence from various sources. They interviewed neighbors who reported hearing heated arguments between Mark and Bethany in the weeks leading up to the murder. The couple's financial records were examined, revealing a pattern of excessive spending and mounting debt. It was discovered that Bethany's teaching job, though highly regarded, did not provide sufficient income, leading her to work as a sommelier to make ends meet. As the investigation progressed, the detectives uncovered a disturbing connection between Mark and a local wine distributor. Records showed that Mark had been purchasing a particular brand of Chardonnay, the same brand found at the crime scene. This discovery raised suspicions that Mark may have tampered with the wine, lacing it with deadly cyanide. To bolster their case, the investigators sought the assistance of forensic experts. The toxicology report confirmed the presence of cyanide in Bethany's system, further strengthening the suspicion against Mark. The detectives also analyzed Mark's financial records, uncovering a series of questionable transactions that pointed to a desperate need for money. With the weight of evidence mounting against Mark, the investigators were determined to bring justice to Bethany and her grieving community. But as they delved deeper into the twisted web of secrets surrounding the Monto marriage, they would soon discover that there was more to this case than met the eye. Laura Bascule-Groves, a 26-year-old sex education teacher at the same high school where Bethany Monto worked, has emerged as the second suspect in the investigation. Laura, known for her outgoing personality and rapier wit, was a familiar face among the students and staff. However, beneath her friendly demeanor, a deep-seated hatred towards Bethany simmered, fueled by a secret affair with Bethany's husband, Mark Anthony Monto. The police wasted no time in bringing Laura in for questioning. The interrogation room was tense, the air heavy with anticipation. Detective Sarah Anders, a seasoned investigator with a reputation for her relentless pursuit of the truth, sat across from Laura. Detective Anders skillfully probed Laura's involvement in the murder, carefully dissecting her every response. Laura's initial reaction to the accusations was one of anger. She vehemently denied any knowledge of Bethany's murder, her voice filled with outrage. "I would never do something so heinous," she exclaimed, her eyes flashing with defiance. However, as the interrogation progressed, cracks began to appear in Laura's facade. With her back against the wall, Laura's denials grew weaker. She attempted to distance herself from the murder, claiming that her affair with Mark had ended months before Bethany's tragic demise. However, the detectives were not easily swayed by her words. They had uncovered a trove of sexually explicit text messages exchanged between Laura and Mark during the time leading up to the murder, revealing their continued sexual involvement. As the interrogation drew to a close, Laura's demeanor shifted from anger to desperation. Tears welled up in her eyes as she realized the gravity of her situation. "I never meant for any of this to happen," she whispered, her voice filled with remorse. The detectives remained stoic, their focus unwavering. The investigation into Laura Bascule-Groves' involvement in Bethany Monto's murder continued. The truth, like a jigsaw puzzle, slowly began to take shape. The question remained, would Laura's secrets be enough to unravel the mystery surrounding Bethany's tragic demise? In the perplexing case of Bethany Monto's murder, the investigation took an unexpected turn when a seemingly unassuming neighbor, Daniel Logan, emerged as the third suspect. At the age of 72, Daniel was a widower known for his reserved nature and meticulous attention to detail.
Living in the same suburban neighborhood as the Montaukes, he had been quietly observing their lives, unbeknownst to them. The police, led by the determined husband and wife team of Detective Sarah Anders and Detective James Anders, brought Daniel in for questioning. The interrogation room was dimly lit, creating an atmosphere of suspense and intrigue. Daniel sat calmly, his demeanor betraying no signs of guilt or nervousness. As the detectives delved deeper into their line of questioning, Daniel revealed a shocking motive rooted in blackmail. It appeared that he had stumbled upon a dark secret of Mark Anthony Montauk, Bethany's husband. Mark, a seemingly successful investment banker, had been leading a double life, engaging in extramarital affairs behind Bethany's back. Daniel claimed that Mark had approached him, offering him sex in exchange for his silence. This revelation sent shockwaves through the investigation, as it hinted at a complex web of deceit and betrayal. The detectives meticulously probed Daniel for further details, seeking to uncover the truth behind this sordid affair. Despite the gravity of the situation, Daniel remained composed throughout the interrogation. His calmness added an air of mystery to his involvement in the case. The detectives, determined to uncover every piece of evidence, carefully cross-referenced Daniel's statements with other testimonies and physical evidence collected from the crime scene. As the investigation unfolded, the detectives discovered that Daniel had been keeping a detailed journal, meticulously documenting every interaction he had witnessed between Mark and Laura Basco-Groves, the second suspect. This journal became a crucial piece of evidence, shedding light on the intricate dynamics between the three individuals. With each page turned, the detectives pieced together a timeline of events, connecting Mark's illicit affair with Laura to the murder of Bethany. The journal entries revealed clandestine meetings, secret phone calls, and coded messages exchanged between the two suspects. The investigation into Daniel's involvement in the case continued, as the detectives sought to determine the extent of his knowledge and potential role in the murder. The evidence gathered thus far pointed to a web of secrets, lies, and manipulation, leaving the detectives eager to uncover the full truth. In a shocking turn of events, the truth behind the heinous murder of beloved high school English teacher Bethany Montauk had finally been revealed. After months of tireless investigation, the police identified and arrested the murderer, bringing an end to a dark chapter in the history of Wilmington, Delaware. The mastermind behind this sinister plot was none other than Bethany's husband, Mark Anthony Montauk. The 38-year-old, who presented himself as a successful investment banker, was never an actual investment banker. He had never held a job, never even went to college. In fact, he was a high school dropout and functionally illiterate. His web of lies and deceit began to unravel when the police discovered his dark secret. Driven by a toxic combination of greed, fear, and deception, Mark orchestrated a twisted and frantic plan to keep Bethany from learning the truth about his fraudulent life. In a desperate bid to silence her forever, he poisoned her with a glass of Chardonnay wine laced with deadly cyanide. This chilling act of betrayal sent shockwaves through the community, leaving friends, family, and colleagues in disbelief. But Mark was not acting alone. Another key player in this tragic tale was Laura Basco-Groves, a 26-year-old sex education teacher at the same high school where Bethany worked. Laura, driven by a deep-seated hatred and a secret affair with Mark, manipulated him into carrying out the murder. In her quest to eliminate her romantic rival and claim Mark for herself, she used his dark secrets as leverage. The police, led by the dedicated husband and wife team of Detective Sarah Anders and Detective James Anders, painstakingly pieced together the puzzle that led to the arrest of both Mark and Laura. With unwavering determination, they meticulously collected evidence, interviewed witnesses, and analyzed forensic data. The arrest of Mark Montauk left the community stunned. The facade of a successful investment banker crumbled, revealing a man consumed by fear and deceit. The arrest of Laura Basco-Groves added another layer of shock, as her friendly demeanor masked a sinister and calculating mind. As news of the arrest spread, the community of Wilmington breathed a collective sigh of relief. The dark cloud of uncertainty that had hung over them for months was finally dissipating. The memory of Bethany Montauk, a dedicated and beloved teacher, will forever be etched in their hearts. The trial that followed the arrest of Mark Montauk gripped the community of Wilmington, Delaware in April of 2004. District Attorney Emil Borko, a seasoned prosecutor known for his tenacity, presented a compelling case against the accused. The courtroom was filled with tension as the prosecution meticulously laid out the evidence, painting a vivid picture of the heinous crime that had taken place. The defense attorney, Mark J. Castlebreath, fought vigorously to cast doubt on the evidence presented by the prosecution. Castlebreath, known for his sharp legal mind, argued that there were inconsistencies in the timeline of events and questioned the credibility of some of the witnesses. He attempted to create reasonable doubt in the minds of the jurors, urging them to consider alternative theories. The trial lasted for several days, with both the prosecution and defense presenting their arguments and calling witnesses to the stand. The jury, composed of 12 individuals from various walks of life, carefully listened to the testimonies and examined the evidence. They deliberated for hours, weighing the facts and the arguments presented before reaching their verdict. Finally, the moment arrived. The tension in the courtroom was palpable as the jury foreperson stood up to deliver the verdict. We, the jury, find the defendant, Mark Anthony Montauk, guilty of the murder of Bethany Montauk, the foreperson announced, her voice steady and resolute. Gasps of disbelief echoed through the courtroom as the reality of the verdict sank in. The sentencing phase of the trial commenced shortly after the guilty verdict was announced.
The prosecution argued for a harsh punishment, citing the brutal nature of the crime and the devastating impact it had on the victim's family and the community. The defense, on the other hand, pleaded for leniency, highlighting Mark's lack of a criminal record and his potential for rehabilitation. After careful consideration, the judge handed down the sentence. Mark Montauk would serve a term of 5 years in prison. The courtroom erupted in a mix of emotions, with some expressing relief and others feeling that the sentence was too lenient given the gravity of the crime. As the trial came to a close, the impact of the verdict rippled through the lives of Bethany's friends and family, forever altering their perception of the justice system. They found solace in the fact that the person responsible for Bethany's untimely death would be held accountable, but the pain of their loss would never fully heal. After the trial concluded, the lives of everyone involved in the Bethany Montauk murder case took divergent paths. The suspects, police investigators, and family members were left to grapple with the aftermath of the heinous crime that shook the tight-knit community of Wilmington, Delaware in April of 2002. Mark Anthony Montauk, the convicted murderer, was sentenced to 5 years in prison with the possibility of parole. His once charming facade crumbled as the truth about his deceitful nature came to light during the trial. With his dark secret exposed, he became a pariah, shunned by the community that had once held him in high regard. The Montauk residence, once a symbol of a seemingly idyllic life, now stood as a haunting reminder of the tragedy that unfolded within its walls. Laura Bascule-Groves, the co-conspirator in the murder plot, faced a different fate. Her involvement in the crime tarnished her reputation as a respected educator. The revelation of her manipulative actions left her isolated and ostracized from the community she had once been a part of. Seeking redemption, after her prison sentence of 10 months, she relocated to Orlando, Florida, hoping to start anew and leave behind the dark past that haunted her. As the years passed, the scars left by the Bethany Montauk murder case began to heal, albeit slowly. The community gradually moved forward, determined to not let the darkness overshadow the resilience and spirit that defined Wilmington. The case served as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of cherishing those we hold dear. The case of Bethany Montauk's murder serves as a chilling reminder of the depths to which human nature can sink. It highlights the importance of uncovering the truth, no matter how hidden or complex it may be. Emily Treacle, a 34-year-old marketing manager from Greenville, South Carolina, was a force to be reckoned with in September of 2009. Known for her outgoing personality and infectious laughter, she charmed everyone she met. Despite her professional success, Emily always prioritized her loved ones, especially her son Lawson, 14. Her dedication to balancing her career and family made her a beloved figure among her family and friends. In September of 2009, Emily's life was at its peak. She had recently landed a prestigious position at a renowned marketing firm, Greenville Marketing Solutions, where she spearheaded successful campaigns for well-known brands like Apple, Nike, and Coca-Cola. Her colleagues described her as a creative genius, always coming up with innovative ideas that captivated audiences. Outside of work, Emily was an active member of her community. She volunteered at the local animal shelter, where she rescued and fostered numerous stray animals. Her love for animals was evident in her home, which was filled with the joyful barks and woofs of her beloved golden retriever, Joseph Clay Powell. Emily's social life was vibrant as well. She was a regular at the Trinity coffee shop, Cafe Mocha, where she would meet with friends to discuss the latest gossip or exchange book recommendations. Her favorite pastime was attending live music events, and she often frequented the popular music venue, the Blue Note, where she would dance the night away with her friends. However, beneath the surface of this seemingly perfect life, darkness lurked. Emily's marriage to her husband, Adam Treacle, was not as idyllic as it appeared. Friends and family had noticed the strain in their relationship, with arguments becoming more frequent and intense, especially about Lawson, who was Emily's son from a previous relationship. Despite their troubles, Emily remained fiercely loyal to Adam, determined to make their marriage work. Little did Emily know that her loyalty would lead to her untimely demise. As we delve deeper into this chilling murder investigation, we will uncover the shocking secrets and hidden motives that ultimately led to Emily's tragic end. On a warm September evening in 2009, tragedy struck the tranquil town of Greenville, South Carolina. The peaceful atmosphere was shattered by the sound of 6 gunshots that pierced the air, leaving the community in shock and disbelief. The victim, Emily Treacle, a 34-year-old marketing manager, met her untimely demise while innocently waiting in her car at a drive-thru Burger King. The fateful scene was discovered by a concerned citizen named Patty Bell Gomery, who happened to be passing by at that very moment. As she glanced towards Emily's vehicle, her eyes were immediately drawn to the lifeless figure slumped behind the wheel. The sight sent a wave of fear and disbelief coursing through her veins, leaving her trembling with apprehension. Without wasting a moment, Patty Bell Gomery swiftly dialed 911, her voice quivering as he relayed the harrowing details to the emergency operator. Her words were laden with a mix of shock and horror as she described the grisly tableau that had unfolded before his eyes. The operator, well-versed in handling such distressing calls, calmly guided Patty Bell through the necessary steps while assuring him that help was on the way. As the minutes ticked by, Patty Bell's mind raced, trying to make sense of the senseless violence that had befallen this quiet corner of Greenville. The once serene neighborhood now buzzed with the presence of law enforcement officers, their flashing lights casting an eerie glow on the surrounding area. News vans from local media outlets descended upon the scene, eager to capture every detail of this shocking crime. As the investigation unfolded, officers meticulously combed through the area, collecting evidence and interviewing witnesses. The drive-thru Burger King, now a haunting backdrop to this heinous act, became a focal point for detectives seeking any clues that might shed light on the identity of the perpetrator. Meanwhile, news of Emily's tragic death spread like wildfire through the tight-knit community. Friends, family, and colleagues were left reeling from the loss of a vibrant and beloved individual. The shockwaves of this crime reverberated far beyond the boundaries of Greenville, leaving a lasting impact on all who heard the news. The Greenville Police Department swiftly responded to the distress call that came in on that fateful September evening in 2009. Detectives Erica Leach and JoJo Brownlee, both seasoned investigators with a reputation for their meticulous approach, took charge of the investigation. Upon arriving at the scene, the detectives were met with a chilling sight. Emily Treacle's car, a silver Chevrolet Impala, was parked near the drive-thru of a Burger King. The car itself was stained with blood, a grim reminder of the violence that had unfolded just moments earlier. Detective Leach, a woman of unwavering determination, meticulously combed through the vehicle, searching for any clues that could shed light on the identity of the killer. She carefully examined the seats, noting the presence of a small tear in the upholstery, which could potentially be a valuable piece of evidence. Detective Brownlee, known for his keen eye for detail, focused his attention on the exterior of the car, inspecting it for any signs of forced entry or tampering. As the investigation progressed, the detectives discovered a discarded gun near the crime scene. The weapon, a Glock 17, was a popular choice among law enforcement agencies at the time. Its presence raised questions about who the perpetrator could be and what their motive might have been. The detectives carefully bagged the gun, ensuring that it would be preserved as evidence for further analysis. As the investigation unfolded, news of Emily Treacle's murder spread throughout the community, sending shockwaves through Greenville and beyond. Local news outlets, such as the Greenville News and WYFF News 4, covered the story extensively, urging anyone with information to come forward and assist the police in their search for justice. Adam Treacle, a 36-year-old unemployed accountant, found himself thrust into the spotlight as the prime suspect in the shocking murder of his wife, Emily Treacle. The investigation took a chilling turn as detectives delved into the depths of Adam's troubled mind, searching for any clues that could link him to the crime. In the aftermath of the Great Recession, Adam had fallen victim to the economic turmoil that plagued the nation. The loss of his job as an accountant had left him feeling emasculated and overshadowed by his successful wife. Friends and neighbors whispered about the resentment that simmered beneath Adam's calm facade. Detectives Erica Leach and JoJo Brownlee, seasoned professionals with a reputation for their meticulous approach, meticulously combed through Adam's life, searching for any hint of a motive. They discovered a series of incriminating text messages exchanged between Adam and an unknown number, suggesting a secret affair. The detectives traced the number to a burner phone, a device commonly used by individuals seeking to conceal their illicit activities. Further investigation revealed that Adam had recently taken out a life insurance policy on Emily, a fact that raised eyebrows and fueled suspicions. The policy, worth a staggering $1 million, would have provided Adam with a substantial financial windfall in the event of Emily's untimely demise. The timing of this policy, coinciding with Adam's growing resentment towards his wife's success, raised red flags within the investigative team. As the detectives dug deeper, they uncovered a web of lies and deceit. Adam had been secretly meeting with a divorce attorney, fueling speculation that he was planning to end his marriage and secure a substantial settlement. The motive for murder became increasingly clear. Adam stood to gain financially from Emily's death, and his actions leading up to that fateful September evening hinted at a plan in motion. The investigation continued, with detectives meticulously analyzing surveillance footage from nearby establishments, hoping to catch a glimpse of Adam's movements on the night of the murder. They also interviewed friends and acquaintances, piecing together a timeline of events leading up to Emily's tragic end. Sarah Bezelrand, a co-worker of Emily Treacle, emerged as a person of interest in the perplexing murder investigation. Originally from Pretoria, South Africa, Sarah's ambitious nature and competitive spirit made her a formidable presence in the workplace. However, behind closed doors, her relationship with Emily took a more intimate and sexual turn. Police theorized Sarah's motive for murder could be traced back to the breakup of her torrid affair with Emily. As September of 2009 unfolded, tensions between the two women escalated, fueled by jealousy and a desire for professional advancement. Sarah saw Emily as a rival, a formidable obstacle standing in the way of her own career aspirations. The police had also been diligently investigating the possibility that Sarah manipulated Adam Treacle, Emily's husband, into carrying out the heinous act. They explored the theory that Sarah, driven by her desperation to secure a promotion and eliminate her ex-lover, devised a plan to involve Adam in the murder plot. During the interrogation, Sarah maintained a calm facade, skillfully concealing her true intentions behind an empty smile. She denied any involvement in Emily's death, insisting that she had moved on from their tumultuous relationship. However, detectives Erica Leach and JoJo Brownlee remained vigilant, aware of the potential danger lurking beneath Sarah's composed exterior. As the investigation delves deeper into the lives of Sarah and Adam, the detectives uncovered a web of secrets and hidden desires. September of 2009 was a time of great uncertainty, with the lingering effects of the Great Recession casting a shadow over the nation. It was a period when individuals, like Sarah and Adam, found themselves grappling with their own personal frustrations and disappointments. As the investigation unfolded, the detectives were determined to uncover the truth behind Emily Treacle's tragic demise. The clock was ticking, and the stakes were high. Would they be able to untangle the web of deceit and betrayal that surrounds this chilling murder? Only time would tell. In the quiet town of Greenville, South Carolina, The Treacle family tragedy unfolded like a scene from a primetime crime drama. 14-year-old Lawson Treacle found himself at the center of a police investigation that gripped the community. The young teen, known for his curiosity and sometimes intrusive nature, was the son of the victim, Emily Treacle, and stepson to the prime suspect, Adam Treacle. Lawson, a student at the local middle school, was often seen skateboarding around the neighborhood, headphones on, lost in his own world. His friends described him as a smart kid, always with his nose in a book or working on his latest science project. But beneath the surface, Lawson harbored deep resentment towards his stepfather, Adam, whom he saw as an intruder in the close bond he shared with his mother. During the interrogation, Lawson's demeanor was a mix of teenage defiance and vulnerability. He spoke of his mother with warmth, recalling how she would cheer the loudest at his soccer games and was always there to help with homework. When asked about Adam, Lawson's tone shifted. He described feeling like an outsider when Adam entered their lives, a sentiment that only grew over time. Detectives probed for any sign of Lawson's involvement or knowledge of the crime. They questioned him about the gun found at the scene, but Lawson insisted he had never seen it before. He recounted his last conversation with his mother, a typical exchange about weekend plans and a reminder to do his chores. The interrogation revealed a troubled relationship between Lawson and Adam, but no evidence to suggest Lawson's involvement in the crime. The detectives concluded that the young teen, while troubled by family dynamics, was not capable of such violence. Instead, they turned their attention back to the other suspects, with Adam Treacle and Sarah Bezelrand remaining at the forefront of the investigation. As the case unfolded, the community rallied around Lawson, offering support and condolences. The story of the Treacle family tragedy served as a stark reminder of the complexities of family relationships and the impact of loss on a small town. Lawson, once a suspect, was now seen as a young boy who had lost his mother too soon, a victim of circumstances beyond his control. In the quiet city of Greenville, South Carolina, the case of Emily Treacle's murder had gripped the community with fear and uncertainty. But as the autumn leaves began to turn, signaling the change of seasons in the fall of 2009, a breakthrough emerged in the investigation that would bring a chilling resolution to the mystery. The Greenville Police Department, led by detectives Erica Leach and JoJo Brownlee, had been tirelessly piecing together the puzzle of Emily's untimely death. The evidence, meticulously gathered from the crime scene at the Burger King drive-thru, pointed to one individual, Adam Treacle, Emily's own husband. Adam, a 36-year-old unemployed accountant, had found himself jobless amidst the Great Recession, a time when financial turmoil was felt across the nation. His wife's success as a marketing manager only deepened his sense of inadequacy and resentment. It was this toxic mix of jealousy and financial desperation that detectives believe drove Adam to commit the unthinkable. On the fateful night of September 17th, Adam executed his plan. While Emily sat in her car while in line at the Burger King drive-thru, he approached under the cover of darkness and fired 6 shots, ending her life in a matter of seconds. The gun, a .38 caliber revolver, a stark symbol of his guilt, was found discarded near the scene, its serial number traced back to Adam. The detectives, armed with this evidence, confronted Adam during a tense interrogation. He sat across from them, his face a mask of stoic calm, but his eyes betrayed a flicker of panic. As the questions grew more pointed, his facade began to crumble. The evidence was irrefutable, and Adam's silence spoke volumes. On September 28th, Adam Treacle's fate was sealed. He was arrested and charged with the murder of Emily Treacle. The news of his arrest spread quickly, making headlines in local papers and becoming the talk of the town. As Adam was led away in handcuffs, the community of Greenville breathed a collective sigh of relief. The man who had walked among them, harboring a dark secret, was now behind bars. Emily's family, though still mourning the loss of their vibrant loved one, found solace in the fact that justice was being served. In the fall of 2009, a real-life drama unfolded in Greenville, South Carolina. The trial of Adam Treacle, accused of the cold-blooded murder of his wife Emily, shot dead in a Burger King drive-thru, captured the attention of the local community and beyond. The courtroom was tense as prosecutor Zara Mitchell laid out the case against Adam. She painted a picture of a man overwhelmed by jealousy, who meticulously planned the murder of his successful wife to collect her life insurance. The evidence was compelling: financial records, the testimony of co-workers, and the murder weapon linked to Adam. Defense attorney Elodie Campbell fought to create doubt, suggesting that the evidence was circumstantial and that Adam was a loving husband incapable of such a crime. However, the jury was not swayed. They had heard the 911 call, seen the crime scene photos, and now they delivered their verdict: guilty. The decision came down on a day when the MTV Video Music Awards were making headlines, but for the people of Greenville, this local news was far more significant. The courtroom was silent, save for the sound of Emily's family softly crying as the judge pronounced the sentence. Life without parole. Adam Treacle's face, once stoic, now showed the gravity of his situation. He had been unmasked not as the quiet, unemployed accountant, but as a murderer driven by envy. The trial, which had been the subject of local news segments and newspaper articles, was over. As the gavel fell, the community reflected on the tragedy. Emily Treacle, remembered for her vibrant personality and dedication to her family, had become a symbol of a life taken too soon. The verdict offered closure to some, but for others, it was a reminder of the fragility of life and the depths of human emotion. The case of the state versus Adam Treacle would be remembered not just for its outcome, but for the conversations it sparked about love, jealousy, and justice. And as the leaves began to change color, signaling the end of November, the people of Greenville would move forward, carrying with them the memory of the trial that had captivated their town. The town of Greenville, South Carolina, was slowly healing from the wounds of a tragedy that had shaken its core. The trial of Adam Treacle for the murder of his wife, Emily, had concluded, leaving a community to grapple with the aftermath. Adam Treacle, now a convicted murderer, faced a life sentence without the possibility of parole. The verdict, delivered on a day when the Toronto International Film Festival celebrated cinematic achievements, marked the end of his freedom. He was confined to a cell, his only company the ghosts of his past actions. Sarah Bezelrand, Emily's former lover and co-worker, also faced the consequences of her involvement. Though not convicted, her reputation was tarnished, her career prospects dimmed. She returned to her native South Africa, but whispers followed her every move, her new colleagues viewing her with suspicion and unease. The community of Greenville, once bustling with the excitement of the upcoming football season and the release of new video games, now found itself in a somber state. The local Burger King, the site of Emily's murder, became a grim landmark, a place many avoided, its drive-thru a reminder of the night that changed everything. For Lawson, the teenage son left without a mother, life was a series of adjustments. He returned to school, his classmates tiptoeing around the subject of his loss. Football games and school dances were no longer just rites of passage. They were moments tinged with the absence of his mother's cheering presence. The Treacle case was a stark reminder of the complexities of human emotions and the consequences of actions driven by jealousy and greed. As Greenville looked to the future, the community held onto the hope that such darkness would never again touch their lives. Greenville, South Carolina, will forever bear the scars of this twisted murder investigation. The tragic death of Emily Treacle shattered the illusion of safety in this quiet suburban community. Through the tireless efforts of the police and the resilience of Emily's loved ones, justice was served, but the scars left behind will never truly fade away. Eleanor Jardian, a seemingly kind-hearted and gentle woman at the age of 77, was known for her nurturing nature and love for her family. Having retired as a children's librarian, she found solace in her passions for gardening and reading classic novels, cherishing the simple pleasures life had to offer. Despite her advancing age, Eleanor remained an active presence in her family, dedicating her time to supervising the lives of her stepchildren, Cynthia and Ben. Cynthia, the daughter of Eleanor's first husband, and Ben, the son of her late second husband, the renowned lawn care tycoon Bobby Jardian Jr., were the center of Eleanor's world. She seemingly ensured their well-being and happiness, shaping their lives with her wisdom, care, and sizable financial resources from her late husbands. August of 2009 was a time of tranquility for Tybee Island, a picturesque coastal town where Eleanor resided. The warm summer sun kissed the sandy beaches, inviting locals and tourists alike to indulge in the serene beauty of the Atlantic Ocean. The community thrived on its close-knit nature, with neighbors sharing stories on their porches and attending lively town gatherings. As the sun set on the island, Eleanor could often be found tending to her vibrant garden, a riot of colors and fragrances that served as a testament to her green thumb. Her love for literature spilled over into her surroundings, with quaint bookshelves adorning her cozy cottage, filled with timeless classics and well-worn paperbacks, particularly those of Joyce Lehman, her favorite novelist. In the wake of Eleanor's tragic murder, the tight-knit community would be left in shock and disbelief. The peaceful aura that had once protected Tybee Island was shattered, replaced by an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. As the investigation unfolds, we will delve deeper into the lives of Eleanor Jardian and those around her, peeling back the layers of secrets and deceit that led to her untimely demise. Stay tuned. We will uncover more shocking revelations and shed light on the dark underbelly of this seemingly peaceful family. On the morning of August 11, 2009, the tranquil shores of Tybee Island, Georgia were shattered by a chilling discovery. Eleanor Jardian, a beloved member of the secluded seaside community, met a tragic end as her dead body was found sprawled on the sandy beach. The shockwaves of this heinous crime reverberated through the tight-knit community, leaving its residents in a state of disbelief. The grim discovery was made by Patty O'Hurley, a local retiree who had made it a habit to take her leisurely morning walks along the shoreline. As Patty strolled along the beach, enjoying the gentle breeze and the sound of crashing waves, she stumbled upon a sight that would haunt her forever. There, lying in the sand, was the naked body of Eleanor Jardian. Patty's heart raced as she took in the gruesome scene before her. She immediately reached for her cell phone, trembling with shock, and dialed 911. The authorities were dispatched to the scene without delay, their sirens piercing the otherwise serene morning air. As news of the discovery spread like wildfire, Tybee Island was thrust into the spotlight. The peaceful community, once known for its picturesque beauty and serene atmosphere, was now the center of a chilling murder investigation. Reporters from local news outlets flocked to the scene, their cameras capturing the grim reality that had befallen this idyllic coastal town. The shock and grief that gripped Tybee Island were palpable. The community rallied together, offering support to Eleanor's family and vowing to find justice for their beloved neighbor. Candlelight vigils were held in her honor, with tearful residents coming together to remember the kind-hearted woman whose life had been cut short. As the investigation unfolded, the media frenzy surrounding the case intensified. News outlets across the state covered the story, speculating about possible motives and suspects. The town that was once known for its tranquility now found itself under the harsh glare of the true crime gaze. On that fateful morning of August 11, 2009, the peaceful community of Tybee Island, Georgia was shaken to its core when the naked and lifeless body of Eleanor Jardian, a beloved member of their close-knit society, was discovered on the beach. The shocking sight sent shockwaves of disbelief throughout the town, leaving its residents in a state of fear and confusion. Lead investigator Detective James Matthews, a seasoned veteran in the field of criminal investigation, arrived at the crime scene along with his partner, Officer Laura Linder. Their presence brought a sense of reassurance to the distraught community, as they knew that justice would be pursued relentlessly. The beach, once a symbol of relaxation and joy, had now transformed into a chilling crime scene. The sand, once golden and inviting, was now stained with the crimson evidence of a brutal murder. Eleanor had been ruthlessly shot to death, a fact that sent shockwaves through the hearts of the residents who had known her as a kind-hearted and gentle woman. With meticulous precision, Detective Matthews and Officer Linder began their investigation. Every inch of the crime scene was examined with utmost care, as they sought to uncover any clue that could lead them to the perpetrator. They combed through the sand, collecting samples and preserving any potential evidence that could shed light on this heinous crime. The forensic team was called in to assist with the investigation, utilizing state-of-the-art techniques to analyze the collected evidence. Fingerprints were meticulously lifted, DNA samples were carefully processed, and ballistics experts examined the bullet casings found near the crime scene. Every piece of evidence was crucial in piecing together the puzzle that would ultimately reveal the identity of Eleanor's killer. The investigation into Eleanor Jardian's murder would prove to be a challenging and complex endeavor, but the determination and unwavering commitment of Detective Matthews, Officer Linder, and the entire police force would not waver. They vowed to bring justice to Eleanor and restore peace to the shattered community. Ben Jardian, aged 41, emerged as the prime suspect in the shocking murder of Eleanor Jardian, his stepmother. Ben, known for his charismatic charm and smooth-talking nature, had always presented himself as a caring and devoted family member. However, as the investigation unfolded, a darker side of his character began to surface. Behind his affable exterior lay a web of secrets and resentment. Eleanor, in a twisted and manipulative move, had coerced Ben into a decades-long sexual relationship to secure his inheritance and substantial allowance. This revelation sent shockwaves through the small seaside community of Tybee Island, Georgia, where the murder took place. The police wasted no time in interrogating Ben, hoping to uncover the truth behind Eleanor's brutal demise. Detective James Matthews and his partner, Officer Laura Linder, skillfully probed Ben, their questions piercing through his carefully constructed facade. The interrogation room buzzed with tension as the investigators sought to unravel the complex mix of emotions that Ben displayed. Ben's response to the interrogation was a delicate balance of anger, calmness, and evasion. He vehemently denied any involvement in Eleanor's murder, claiming to have been at a local coffee shop during the time of her death. The investigators painstakingly cross-referenced his alibi, meticulously examining CCTV footage and interviewing witnesses from the coffee shop. However, they found no concrete evidence to either confirm or refute his claims. As the investigation progressed, the media frenzy surrounding the case intensified. Local newspapers, such as the Tybee Island Times, splashed headlines about the murder across their front pages, captivating the attention of the community. The police continued their relentless pursuit of justice, leaving no stone unturned in their quest for the truth. They meticulously combed through phone records, financial transactions, and witness testimonies, piecing together a timeline of events leading up to Eleanor's murder. Every detail, no matter how seemingly insignificant, was scrutinized in their pursuit of justice. Cynthia Jardian, aged 45, the wife of Ben Jardian and stepdaughter of the late Eleanor Jardian from her first husband, emerged as the second suspect in the shocking murder case that gripped the small community of Tybee Island, Georgia. Known for her elegance and refined taste, Cynthia presented herself as a supportive spouse to her husband and loving mother to their daughter, Aroma. However, behind her polished exterior lay a web of secrets and a calculating, ambitious nature. According to the police investigation, Cynthia was forced into a sexual relationship with Eleanor, her stepmother, as a means to maintain her family's financial status. This revelation sent shockwaves through the community as the residents struggled to come to terms with the dark secrets that had been unearthed within the Jardians family. During the intense interrogation, Cynthia's demeanor fluctuated between anger, calmness, and denial. She vehemently denied any involvement in the murder, insisting that she loved Eleanor like a mother and would never harm her. However, the evidence gathered by the police paints a different picture. Investigators uncovered a series of incriminating emails exchanged between Cynthia and Eleanor, discussing their illicit relationship, including graphic descriptions of how Eleanor wanted her stepdaughter to perform sexually. These emails, along with other pieces of evidence, raised suspicions about Cynthia's motive for murder. As the investigation into Cynthia Jardian's involvement in the murder unfolds, the community anxiously awaited answers. Would justice be served, or will the secrets of Tybee Island continue to haunt its residents? In the ongoing investigation into the shocking murder of Eleanor Jardian, a new suspect emerged. Harold Beechers, a seemingly friendly neighbor of the victim, became the focus of intense scrutiny. Known for his outgoing personality and close bond with Eleanor, Harold's involvement in this perplexing case raised eyebrows within the tight-knit community of Tybee Island, Georgia. Harold, a middle-aged man with a penchant for Hawaiian shirts, had always been a familiar face in the neighborhood. He was often seen engaging in friendly conversations with Eleanor, sharing gardening tips and discussing the latest bestsellers. However, beneath his amiable facade, Harold harbored a secret sexual obsession with the elderly woman. The police, armed with newfound evidence from the letters discovered in a secluded cove, turned their attention to Harold. They sought to unravel the depths of his infatuation and determine if it played a role in Eleanor's untimely demise. The interrogation room was tense as Detective James Matthews and Officer Laura Linder questioned Harold, hoping to extract the truth from him. During the interrogation, Harold's emotions were clearly in turmoil. Anger, guilt, and confusion were etched across his face as he struggled to provide coherent answers. The investigators pressed him on the nature of his relationship with Eleanor, delving into the depths of his obsession. Harold's voice trembled as he admitted to the infatuation he had nurtured in secret, but vehemently denied any involvement in her murder. As the questioning continued, Harold's demeanor shifted. He became increasingly defensive, lashing out at the detectives and insisting on his innocence. The investigation team meticulously probed for inconsistencies, seeking to determine if Harold's obsession had driven him to commit this heinous crime. The weight of suspicion hung heavy in the air as the detectives scrutinized his every word and gesture. In the days following the interrogation, the police tirelessly combed through Harold's background, searching for any evidence that could link him to the murder. They interviewed friends, family, and acquaintances, piecing together a profile of the man behind the friendly facade. The media, hungry for details, began speculating on Harold's possible involvement, sensationalizing the case and fueling public interest. The community of Tybee Island remained on edge. The truth behind Eleanor Jardian's murder remained elusive, and the search for justice intensified. The police, determined to bring closure to this tragic case, left no stone unturned in their relentless pursuit of the truth. In a stunning twist, the investigation into the murder of Eleanor Jardian took a dramatic turn, revealing Cynthia Jardian, the stepdaughter of the victim, as the mastermind behind this heinous crime. The motive behind Cynthia's actions was a toxic level of exhaustion and her drive for wealth. This shocking revelation sent shockwaves through the close-knit community of Tybee Island, Georgia, where the murder took place. Cynthia Jardian, a woman of elegance and refined taste, had long portrayed herself as a supportive spouse to her husband Ben and loving mother to her daughter, Aroma. However, beneath her polished exterior lay a dark and manipulative nature. The investigation uncovered that Cynthia had been forced into a sexual relationship with Eleanor, her stepmother and main financial provider, as a means to maintain her family's financial status. This disturbing revelation sheds light on the intricate web of deceit and manipulation that surrounded Eleanor's murder. The police diligently pursued this lead, and it was the discovery of a hidden stash of letters in a secluded cove that provided a breakthrough in the case. These letters exposed the secret anger Cynthia had towards Eleanor. The letters revealed her deep-seated hatred for Eleanor, whom she loathed for her voracious sexual appetite, sometimes forcing Cynthia to have sex with her 3 or even 4 times a day. Cynthia saw Eleanor's sizable estate as the only way to secure her family's financial future. As the investigation unfolded, it became clear that Cynthia's actions were not driven by a momentary lapse in judgment, but rather a calculated plan to eliminate Eleanor. The police gathered evidence, piecing together the puzzle to bring Cynthia to justice. The interrogation of Cynthia revealed a mix of anger, calmness, and denial as she attempted to evade responsibility for her actions. Finally, the authorities were able to identify Cynthia Jardian as the prime suspect and subsequently arrested her. The arrest sent shockwaves through the community as the residents grappled with the realization that one of their own was capable of such a heinous act. As the trial began, the community of Tybee Island, Georgia, remained in a state of disbelief. The once idyllic seaside community had been forever changed by this tragic event. And as the trial unfolded, the truth behind this shocking crime will be revealed, bringing closure to a community in mourning. The highly anticipated trial of Cynthia Jardian, the mastermind behind the shocking murder of Eleanor Jardian, took place in the small coastal town of Tybee Island, Georgia. The courtroom was packed with curious onlookers, eager to witness the conclusion of this gripping true crime case. Prosecutor Sarah McPherson, known for her tenacious pursuit of justice, presented a compelling argument against Cynthia. She meticulously laid out the evidence, painting a vivid picture of Cynthia's greed and calculated actions. McPherson highlighted the disturbing nature of the murder plot, emphasizing how Cynthia's desire for wealth and power drove her to orchestrate the heinous crime. In her opening statement, McPherson described the chilling discovery of Eleanor's naked body on the beach, sending shockwaves through the tight-knit community. She recounted how the police swiftly responded to the crime scene, collecting crucial evidence that would later link Cynthia to the murder. Throughout the trial, McPherson called upon witnesses who had been entangled in the web of deceit surrounding Eleanor's murder. These witnesses, including Patty O'Hurley, the retiree who stumbled upon the crime scene, and the local fisherman who discovered the hidden stash of letters, provided crucial testimony that solidified the prosecution's case. Defense attorney Marley Hobart Greaves, known for his ability to sway juries, presented a different narrative. He argued that Cynthia's actions were driven by sexual exhaustion and emotional turmoil from her coerced relationship with the victim, painting her as a victim of circumstance rather than a cold-blooded murderer. Hobart Greaves pleaded for leniency, urging the jury to consider the toll that Eleanor's manipulation had taken on Cynthia's mental state. As the trial progressed, the courtroom was filled with tension and emotion. The media circus surrounding the trial only added to the intensity, with reporters from local news outlets capturing every moment for the public to devour. After days of compelling arguments and emotional testimonies, the jury retired to deliberate. The verdict, delivered with a mix of relief and disappointment, found Cynthia guilty of first-degree murder. The courtroom erupted in a cacophony of reactions, gasps of disbelief from Cynthia's supporters and tears of relief from Eleanor's family and friends. In a final act of justice, the judge sentenced Cynthia to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The impact of the verdict reverberated through the community, forever changing the lives of those involved. Tybee Island, once known for its idyllic beaches and close-knit community, would forever be marked by the tragic events of August 2009. After the highly publicized trial, the lives of those involved in the shocking murder of Eleanor Jardian took a dramatic turn. Cynthia, now incarcerated, would spend the rest of her life behind bars, reflecting on the choices that led to her downfall. Ben, Eleanor's stepson and Cynthia's husband, faced public scrutiny and the weight of his complicity in the crime. Cynthia's daughter, Aroma, was left to navigate the aftermath of her mother's actions, forever changed by the revelation of her family's dark secrets. Meanwhile, the police continued their tireless pursuit of justice, ensuring that no stone was left unturned. Detective James Matthews and Officer Laura Linder, the lead investigators in the case, remained committed to uncovering any lingering mysteries surrounding Eleanor's murder. Their dedication to the truth brought solace to the community, knowing that justice had been served. The impact of this shocking crime rippled through Tybee Island, leaving a lasting mark on the close-knit community. The residents, once known for their tranquility, found themselves grappling with the harsh reality that darkness can lurk even in the most idyllic of places. And thus, we conclude this episode of True Crime Case Files. The story of Eleanor Jardian's murder serves as a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most idyllic communities. Mildred Laila, a retired nurse aged 68, resided in Centerville, Ohio, a quiet suburban town nestled in the heartland of America. Known for her forceful nature and sharp tongue, Mildred was a force to be reckoned with in her community. Her days were spent in a small, modest house on Elm Street on Centerville's east side, where she lived alone. Despite her solitude, Mildred was never short of drama. She had a reputation for meddling in her family members' affairs, imposing her opinions and judgments on them with an iron fist. Her fierce loyalty, however, was unquestionable. She was willing to go to great lengths to protect her loved ones, even if it meant resorting to violence or crossing ethical boundaries. Mildred's difficult personality often led to heated confrontations within her family. Arguments would escalate and tempers would flare. The tension was frequently palpable, and neighbors would overhear the occasional shouting match. Rumors of Mildred's controlling nature spread like wildfire through the tight-knit community. But behind closed doors, there was more to Mildred than met the eye. She had a secret life, hidden beneath her stern exterior. Friends and neighbors were unaware of the depths of her darkness, the secrets she kept locked away. The facade she presented to the world was just that, a facade. As we delve deeper into Mildred's story, we will explore the events that unfolded in Centerville, Ohio, in July 1991. We will uncover the shocking secrets that lay dormant, waiting to be revealed. Join us as we piece together the puzzle of Mildred's life and the tragic turn it took. On a fateful summer morning in the quaint town of Centerville, Ohio, the tight-knit community was abruptly jolted from its peaceful slumber. July 18th, 1991 would forever be etched in the collective memory of Centerville's residents, as it marked the shocking discovery of Mildred Labraila's lifeless body. Mildred, a retired nurse who had dedicated her life to caring for her family, met a tragic end within the confines of her own home on Elm Street. The tranquility of her sleep was abruptly shattered as a pillow was callously placed over her face, suffocating her in the darkness of the night. It was Angela Labraila, Mildred's daughter-in-law, who stumbled upon this gruesome scene. The morning sun had just begun to cast its warm glow upon the world when Angela, with a mix of trepidation and curiosity, ventured into Mildred's bedroom. The sight that greeted her was nothing short of a nightmare. Angela's heart raced as she took in the surreal tableau before her. Her mother-in-law lay motionless on the bed, her face buried beneath the weight of the pillow. Panic and disbelief washed over Angela, her mind struggling to comprehend the horrifying reality that she had unwittingly stumbled upon. With trembling hands, Angela reached for the kitchen phone and dialed the emergency number, her voice quivering as she relayed the chilling details to the operator. The seconds stretched into an eternity as she anxiously awaited the arrival of the authorities, their presence offering a glimmer of hope in the face of this unimaginable tragedy. News of Mildred's untimely demise quickly spread throughout Centerville, a town unaccustomed to much gossip but no such heinous acts of violence. The tight-knit community, usually united in their shared sense of security, now found themselves gripped by fear and uncertainty. Whispers of speculation and theories filled the air, as neighbors huddled together, seeking solace and answers amidst the chaos. In the boringly quiet town of Centerville, Ohio, a dark cloud descended upon its close-knit Rust Belt community. The life of Mildred Labraila, a retired nurse, took a tragic turn that fateful day. Known for her stern and serious nature, Mildred's demise would leave the town in shock and disbelief. Mildred, 68, was not one to shy away from expressing her opinions and judgments. Her sharp tongue and domineering personality often left her family members feeling suffocated. She meddled in their affairs, imposing her will on them with an iron fist. Despite her abrasive demeanor, Mildred's loyalty to her family knew no bounds. She was willing to go to great lengths to protect them, even if it meant crossing ethical boundaries or resorting to violence. It was on a warm July morning when Angela Labraila, Mildred's daughter-in-law, made the horrifying discovery of Mildred's corpse. The Centerville Police Department responded swiftly to the distressing call. Detective Rollo Worster and Officer Oscar Grelovich were assigned to the case. With meticulous attention to detail, they combed through the crime scene, searching for any clues that would unravel the truth behind Mildred's untimely death. As they entered the room, the detectives were struck by the eerie cleanliness. There were no signs of struggle or forced entry, leaving them puzzled. The cause of death, suffocation, was determined through a thorough examination, but the question of who was responsible remained unanswered. Detective Worster and Officer Grelovich turned their attention to Mildred's personal life, hoping to uncover any potential motives or suspects. They interviewed family members, neighbors, and friends, piecing together the puzzle of her final days. Rumors circulated throughout the town, speculating on hidden secrets and clandestine affairs. The investigation into Mildred Labraila's death captivated the small community of Centerville. Local newspapers and television stations covered the case extensively, with headlines splashed across the front pages. The town's residents were on edge, questioning their own safety and the trust they had placed in their neighbors. As the days turned into weeks, Detective Worster and Officer Grelovich tirelessly pursued every lead, determined to bring justice to Mildred and closure to the community. Their investigation would uncover a web of deceit, betrayal, and secrets that would shock Centerville to its core. Angela Labraila, a 38-year-old woman from Centerville, Ohio, found herself at the center of a shocking crime investigation in July 1991. Angela, known for her kind-hearted nature and gentle demeanor, had long endured the torment of her mother-in-law, Mildred Laila. Mildred, a retired nurse and a woman of strong will, had a reputation for being stern and controlling. Her sharp tongue and domineering nature made her a force to be reckoned with in the Laila family. Angela, as her only daughter-in-law, bore the brunt of Mildred's wrath, enduring years of constant criticism and even physical abuse. The police, led by Detective Rollo Worster and Officer Oscar Grelovich, focused their attention on Angela as the prime suspect in Mildred's tragic demise. The investigation aimed to uncover any possible motives that Angela might have had for committing such a heinous crime. During the interrogation, Angela's emotions were a mix of anger, frustration, and relief. Anger, stemming from the years of mistreatment she had endured at the hands of Mildred. Frustration, as she had often felt trapped and powerless in her own home. And finally, relief, as the burden of Mildred's control was finally lifted from her shoulders. The detectives delved into Angela's past, seeking to understand the dynamics of her relationship with Mildred. They discovered a pattern of abuse that stretched back years, with Angela enduring not only verbal assaults, but also physical beatings and even vicious whippings that would leave a legacy of scars on her back. The investigators meticulously documented the instances of abuse, building a case that would shed light on the toxic environment in which Angela had lived. As the investigation progressed, the detectives sought out witnesses who could provide insight into the volatile relationship between Mildred and Angela. Friends and neighbors were interviewed, painting a picture of a woman who ruled her family with an iron fist. The stories of Mildred's controlling behavior were corroborated by multiple sources, further strengthening Angela's claims of abuse. Despite the mounting evidence against Angela, the detectives remained open to other possibilities. They explored alternative theories, considering the potential involvement of other family members or even an unknown assailant. The investigation was far from over, and the truth behind Mildred's tragic demise still eluded the authorities. Jack Labrilla, a 40-year-old man and owner of the local Pizza Hut, became another person of interest in the ongoing investigation into the tragic death of his mother, Mildred Labrilla. As authorities delved deeper into the case, they uncovered a complex web of family dynamics and a history of physical and emotional abuse that may shed light on Jack's potential involvement. Jack, known for his passive demeanor and aversion to conflict, had long endured his mother's domineering personality. Over the decades, Mildred subjected Jack to near constant physical abuse, leaving him with deep emotional and physical scars. Despite the torment he endured, Jack chose to avoid confrontation, opting instead to maintain a semblance of peace within the family. However, his love and loyalty towards his wife, Angela Labrilla, may have pushed Jack to consider drastic measures to protect his family. Angela, who had also been questioned as a suspect, endured years of Mildred's constant criticism and even physical abuse. The couple had long dreamt of a life free from Mildred's oppressive presence, and the tension within the family had reached its breaking point. In the weeks leading up to the tragic event, neighbors reported witnessing heated vitriol between Mildred and Jack. These disputes often revolved around Angela and the couple's desire to break free from Mildred's control. The tension within the household had become palpable, and friends and family members had noticed a change in Jack's behavior. He appeared on edge and increasingly distant, as if burdened by a heavy secret. As investigators meticulously combed through the evidence, they are piecing together a timeline of events leading up to Mildred's death, scrutinizing Jack's movements and interactions in the days and hours preceding the crime, hoping to uncover any clues that may point to his involvement. The police also examined phone records and financial transactions to determine if Jack had any motive or opportunity to carry out such a heinous act. The investigation into the murder of Mildred Labrilla took a surprising turn when new evidence emerged, revealing a web of dark secrets within the peaceful town of Centerville, Ohio. On a stormy night in August 1991, Janna Brisco, a neighbor of the Labrilla family, made a startling discovery that would send shockwaves through the community. Lana, a curious and observant woman, had always suspected that there was more to Mildred's life than met the eye. As she rummaged through her attic, searching for an old photo album, she stumbled upon a dusty box tucked away in a corner. Intrigued, Lana opened it and found a collection of letters, carefully preserved over the years. To her astonishment, The letters were exchanges between Mildred and her own daughter, Janna. The contents of these letters painted a picture of a complex and tumultuous sexual relationship. They revealed a love that was tainted by deep-seated resentment and a constant power struggle. As Lana read through the letters, she couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. The words on the pages were filled with anger, frustration, and a longing for freedom. It was clear that Janna, despite her love for her mother, harbored a deep-seated hatred towards her. The letters detailed the emotional and psychological abuse that Mildred had subjected Janna to throughout their relationship. They spoke of a woman who controlled every aspect of her daughter's existence, leaving her feeling trapped and suffocated. It became evident that Janna's relationship with Mildred was far from an idyllic May-December love story. The police were stunned by this revelation. They had initially focused their investigation on Angela, Mildred's daughter-in-law, and Jack, her son. But now, with the emergence of these letters, Janna became a potential suspect as well. The detectives delved deeper into Janna's life, searching for any signs of motive or opportunity. In the small town of Centerville, Ohio, the investigation into the tragic murder of Mildred Laila took an unexpected turn when a new suspect emerged. Janna Brisco, a 19-year-old neighbor known for her nosy nature and penchant for gossip, found herself under the watchful eye of law enforcement. Janna, with her outwardly friendly demeanor, had managed to hide a deep-seated resentment towards Mildred. But what shocked the police even more was the revelation of a secret sexual affair between the two women. As Lana Brisco, a neighbor of Mildred and Janna's mother, stumbled upon a hidden stash of love letters exchanged between Mildred and Janna, the police realized they had a potential motive on their hands. During the interrogation, Janna's emotions were a mix of anger, guilt, and a twisted sense of satisfaction. She revealed that her relationship with Mildred was a complicated web of love and resentment. Janna had long been drawn to Mildred's domineering personality, but at the same time, she harbored deep-seated anger towards her. As the police dug deeper into Janna's background, they discovered a troubled past. Janna had always been an outsider, struggling to fit in with her peers. She found solace in her secret sexual relationship with Mildred, a woman who seemed to understand her in a way no one else did. But this connection was tainted by the constant power struggle between them. Janna's resentment towards Mildred stemmed from years of feeling controlled and manipulated. She resented the way Mildred used their relationship as a means of exerting power over her. The police began to piece together a motive, as Janna's desire to break free from Mildred's control became increasingly evident. The investigation into Janna's involvement in Mildred's murder continued, as the police delved into her alibi and gathered evidence. They meticulously combed through phone records, interviewed witnesses, and analyzed the letters exchanged between Janna and Mildred. As the town of Centerville buzzed with speculation, the police were determined to uncover the truth. The investigation into Janna Brisco's potential role in the murder of Mildred Laila was far from over. In a stunning turn of events, the Centerville Police Department identified Angela Laila, 38, as the perpetrator behind the heinous murder of Mildred Laila, her mother-in-law. After an exhaustive investigation, Angela's motive for the crime was revealed, shedding light on the dark secrets that plagued this close-knit community in 1991. The investigation into Mildred's death began when Angela, who had endured years of abuse at the hands of her mother-in-law, made the horrifying discovery of Mildred's lifeless body. The scene was chilling, with a pillow placed forcefully over Mildred's face, suffocating her in her sleep. Angela, overwhelmed with shock and disbelief, immediately alerted the authorities, setting into motion a chain of events that would unravel the truth behind this tragic incident. As the investigation progressed, Angela, despite being known for her gentle demeanor and kind-hearted nature, emerged as the prime suspect. Her tumultuous relationship with Mildred, marked by constant criticism and physical abuse, including beatings and even whippings, provided a motive for the crime. The police interrogated Angela, desperate to uncover the truth behind Mildred's demise. Her response was a mix of anger, frustration, and a glimmer of relief, as she finally felt free from Mildred's control. After painstakingly piecing together the puzzle, the police ultimately identified Angela Laila as the murderer. Motivated by a desperate desire to escape Mildred's controlling influence, and to protect her family from further harm, Angela took matters into her own hands. Suffocating Mildred with a pillow, she sought to free herself from her mother-in-law's grip and ensure her family's safety. The murder was a tragic consequence of Angela's fear and frustration as she sought to regain control over her own life. The trial that followed Angela Librila's arrest was a gripping and emotional journey that captivated the residents of Centerville, Ohio. District Attorney Brianna Alfonsi, known for her tenacity and sharp legal skills, led the prosecution's case against Angela. The courtroom was filled with tension as the trial unfolded, with the victim's family, friends, and curious onlookers anxiously awaiting justice. During the trial, the prosecution meticulously presented their evidence, aiming to prove Angela's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. They showcased the pillow used to suffocate Mildred Laila, expertly linking it to Angela through DNA analysis. They also called upon witnesses, including neighbors who had heard heated arguments between Angela and Mildred, as well as medical professionals who testified to the extent of Mildred's physical abuse. Defense attorney Michael Carl Shrew, renowned for his ability to empathize with his clients, fought tirelessly to present Angela's side of the story. He painted a picture of a woman pushed to her limits, trapped in an abusive relationship with her mother-in-law. Shrew argued that Angela's actions were driven by desperation and a genuine fear for her family's safety. After days of intense deliberation, the jury reached a verdict. Angela Laila was found guilty of first-degree murder. The courtroom erupted in a mix of emotions, with some expressing relief that justice had been served, while others questioned whether Angela's desperate circumstances should have been taken into account. Judge Mary Breedlove, known for her strict adherence to the law, delivered the sentencing. Angela was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The courtroom fell silent as the weight of the sentence sank in. Some found solace in the closure the sentencing brought, believing that Mildred's death had been avenged. Others, however, felt a sense of unease, wondering if Angela's punishment truly reflected the complexity of the situation. Following the conclusion of the trial, the lives of all those involved were forever altered. Angela Laila, now serving a life sentence, grappled with the profound repercussions of her actions. Confined within the walls of the Centerville Correctional Facility, Angela faced the daunting task of rebuilding her life behind bars. The routine of prison life became her new reality, as she navigated the daily challenges and sought solace in the limited freedoms she still possessed. Meanwhile, Jack Laila, finally liberated from the clutches of his domineering mother, embarked on a journey of self-discovery and healing. With the weight of his mother's influence lifted, Jack focused on rebuilding his shattered life and protecting his family from further harm. He immersed himself in his work at the local Pizza Hut, a popular dining choice for this Midwestern community starved of places to eat. Janna Brisco, burdened by the weight of guilt and regret, embarked on a path of redemption. Haunted by her secret affair with Mildred and the role it played in the tragic events that unfolded, Janna sought solace in the support of her family and the guidance of a therapist. In the aftermath of the trial, questions lingered in the minds of many. Some questioned whether justice had truly been served, while others found solace in the closure the trial brought. The impact of Mildred's death reverberated throughout the community, serving as a stark reminder of the destructive power of control and the lengths some will go to escape it.